Test 1, 2, 3. And out. Yeah, go ahead.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to leave it connected. I'm just going to leave it connected. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a season opening game here in Lafayette as the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos host the Zionsville Eagles. This will be the season opener for the IHSAA, Indiana High School Football Association. They'll open up tonight. It's beautiful weather out there. I got my play-by-play partner, Alex Maston, joining me, and they just had the coin toss, and we'll see. I think Zionsville may be the kicking team. Alex, what are you looking for tonight out of both teams? I know it's early. We haven't seen either one, but what do you expect to see?
Well, first and foremost, it's great to be back. It was a long summer, hot summer, and to have opening football and it be 75 degrees is just perfect. Zionsville's looking to kick the ball, and to start off on defense, I would say Zionsville with their starters. They've got Daniel McCulloch, who's a senior, Noah Rogers, Connor Dahl, and Jake Romanick across the front. At linebackers, Carter Spear, Jimmy Morrison, and Scott Panola. Cornerbacks, Tyler Glenn and Joshua Woodard. And at safeties, Ben Kocher and Jackson Schaefer. So they're looking to get out there. On defense, I'm expecting Zionsville to come out and just really pound them in the mouth. They got a big front line and really good linebacking crew this year, so hopefully they can go out there and get a stop right away and get the ball back.
Yeah, and out of that starting defense, we're real familiar with Scott Panola. He'll be starting linebacker tonight for the Zionsville Eagles, and he actually got some work at running back this summer. He's a big, strong kid. He's going to be the leader of that defense, I believe. Number 10, Parker Dunchey, will be the kicker tonight for Zionsville, and he's a much-improved quarterback. He had a great season last year, and we expect him to build on that, and he will double as the kicker and punter, I believe, for Zionsville. So we're ready for kickoff here. Whistle blows, and Dunchey will put his foot into the ball. It's a dribbler, fielded by number 7 for Jeff at the 15. He breaks it open. He's got a lot of room down the right sideline. He'll finally get brought out of bounds at the Zionsville 30. And a rough start there for Zionsville, giving up about a 55-yard kick return. Lafayette Jeff will have great field position to start this game.
Yeah, that was a great run by Tim Wilson, man. He got out there. He's got some serious speed, one of the receivers in this spread offense, and he was able to get a window and take it up the sideline. Great touchdown-saving tackle by, I think, Parker Dunchey. So Zionsville's got the work cut out for him with Jeff starting at the 35-yard line.
And Tim Wilson will remain in the ball game. Jeff is in the shotgun, single back. They'll run the spread most of the night. Number 22, the running back for Jeff, that's Darian Green. Moves to the left side of the quarterback. The snap, it's a handoff to Darian Green. He doesn't even get back to he gets back to right about the line of scrimmage. He maybe gained a yard or two, Alex. And running out of this spread, how do you think Zionsville's going to adjust to that? It's kind of a strange formation to have to deal with first game of the year.
Yeah, it sure is. The DBs have to be very sound in their assignments, and more than anything, you got to pressure the quarterback. But Jeff comes out and runs the ball, which I don't think Zionsville really expected. So good job of stopping them there on that first play.
The quarterback for Lafayette Jeff is Matt Johnson, number 2. This time he'll be under center. And the pitch will be to Darian Green. It's fumbled on the ground. Zionsville falls on it. That'll be Zionsville ball going the other way. Second play of the year, big turnover by the defense. An unforced error as Darian Green couldn't handle the pitch. And I was unable to see who fell on that ball. It might have been number 40 for Zionsville. I believe that's Noah Rogers. So the offense will take over for Zionsville after giving up that big kick return to start the game. That's a huge momentum swing for them to get back on the right foot.
Yeah, it sure is, and a great job by Noah Rogers in that series. He made the tackle on the very first play to stop the run from breaking big and falls on that ball on the fumble. Just a miscommunication and a bad pitch from the quarterback to the running back, and Zionsville takes over.
So Dunchey will be under center here. The running back is number 6, Cole Wint. And it's double tight formation. Nomchev and Chris Mason are the receivers. Dunchey steps back, looks downfield to throw. He's got Carson Kennedy as tight end, number 3, and that is good for about a 25-yard gain to open it up into Lafayette Jeff territory.
Yeah, that was great. Zionsville comes out in a double tight, and that really opens up the middle. Lafayette Jeff expecting a run on a double tight formation, and the tight end just split right up the middle, and Parker delivers a great ball to him. So really good start and first play for Zionsville.
It'll be first down for Zionsville in Bronco territory. The ball will be at the Lafayette Jefferson 44-yard line. And this time we'll see I formation as Steven Wisniewski, the fullback, checks in the game. Dunchey under center. And Dunchie, another quick look here. He's got Chris Mason, I believe, for another 15-yard gain. And yes, that was number 18. That's Chris Mason. He's a new starter this year. The Mason family, a lot of those kids have gone through Zionsville, so we would expect nothing less of the youngest of the family, Chris.
Yeah, that was just a great play. Zionsville is getting out here and throwing the ball right away, which is kind of unexpected and not normal. And it's kind of the opposite. Jeff came out and ran 2 plays the very first series they had, so it's a good way to start the year unexpectedly.
2 wideouts to the bottom of your screen now. Number 1 for Zionsville checked in, Avery Boxell. I formation still. Parker Dunchie takes a snap, drops back to pass again. He's got Boxell down to the Lafayette Jeff 15-yard line. So 3 passes good in a row, good for 3 first downs as Zionsville marching it down quickly here.
Yeah, and let me say, that was a heck of a grab right there. Parker kind of misled him a little bit, threw it behind him, and Boxell was able to catch that ball and go to the ground and make a first down. So Zionsville's looking really good on this first drive here.
We should take a minute to introduce to you the Zionsville offensive line. Zane Breach is your left tackle. Jacob Avon is the other tackle. Eric Whiteholder and Austin Brewer are your guards. Thomas Mattingly is in center. I formation for Zionsville again as Parker Dunchie looks away. Boxell, a nice catch, hangs onto the ball on a quick slant as he was hit very quickly. As soon as he touched the ball, he was hit by the cornerback for Lafayette Jeff, number 27. That's Tremel Abbott.
Well, so the Zionsville, 4 plays, 4 passes, completions on every single one, and they're at the 6-yard line. Really great drive, and this is really impressive to see happen. We knew that this passing game was going to be really impressive this year with the return of Namchef and Dunchie, so good job so far.
Parker Dunchie and wide receiver John Namchef had a pretty prolific duo last year. They went over 100 yards to each other multiple times, and John Namchef, the receiver, actually, I think, set the Zionsville single-game receiving record last year, so he's definitely a familiar face coming back.
Yeah, he's definitely a long ball threat, and he has good speed and can catch almost everything up top. He's 6'4", so we'll see what they do here. Hopefully they keep passing, but you never know.
And no pass has come Namchef's way yet. It's been Kennedy, Mason, and Boxell so far. Dunchie back under center, first and goal Zionsville. Namchef in motion to the top of your screen. He gets a quick pass. He's got some room to run. He cuts inside the goal line, and that'll be the first touchdown of the year, and it was to the guy we were talking about, John Namchef. So the Eagles will take the early lead in this game. 9 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first quarter. Eagles up 6-0, pinning the extra point.
And that was a great play call right there. They brought Namchef over on motion and just ran a little bubble screen to him, opened that space, and he was able to dive into the end zone and get through the tacklers. So great job, Zionsville, on that first drive. Very nice.
And this will not be Parker Dunchie on the extra point. He'll take kickoffs and punting, but this is number 25 for Zionsville. He boots it through and makes the gain. No, I'm sorry, he missed it wide right. From our vantage point up here, I thought it was straight up and down, but he actually missed the extra point. So Zionsville, a nice drive, but couldn't convert the extra point. They'll have to settle for a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, and once again, 5 passes, 5 completions, and a touchdown. So that's a heck of a drive from Zionsville right there. We'll see how they come back on defense. That's a nice little momentum shift to get that fumble recovery on the first series from Lafayette Jeff. So very nice job and great execution.
They took over on the 30, so unofficially, I'm going to say Parker Dunchie is 5 for 5, 70 yards and a touchdown. And what I was most impressed about, as opposed to last year, was the way he distributed the ball down the field. Last year, we saw a lot of targets to John Namchef, and I think through the course of the year, Namchef saw a lot more attention, and I thought Parker did a really good job there distributing the ball. Got to give credit to the coaches on the play calling, but Parker not looking at his go-to guy as much as just trying to get, to hit the open receiver, get the ball down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. That was 5 passes and 4 different receivers, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's great distribution, and also great blocking by the front line. A 3-step drop, it's pretty quick out of the quarterback's hands, so not too hard to block that one.
Parker set to kick off from the Zionsville 40. Let's see if the coverage team has a little bit better effort on this one. It's another bouncer. It's taken about the 10-yard line by Darian Green. He is brought down at their own 23-yard line, so Lafayette Jefferson will take back over.
A little bit better on the kickoff coverage right there. Number 25, Ryan Connor was down there and got the tackle, so good job. And let's see what Lafayette Jeff comes out here and do. What do you expect, partner?
I expect them to I don't think that they were necessarily really got into a rhythm last time. The second play, it was a fumble, and it wasn't anyone's fault except that, the running back's got to make that catch on the pitch. I thought it was a good pitch by the quarterback. Once again, the quarterback is number 2, Matt Johnson. He's a junior. Shotgun here for Johnson. He makes a quick pass. It's bobbled and then caught, and it's about a 3 good. Oh, the ball's out again.
Another
and
fumble.
The ball's out again, and Zionsville Zionsville did not recover the ball. I think the Broncos actually might have gained a few yards on the fumble.
Yeah, they sure did.
The ball was bobbled by the wide receiver. I was unable to catch who made that one. Did you see who caught the ball?
I'm not sure who caught it, but I know 24 for Lafayette Jeff recovered the fumble. But it's you don't bump if you fumble that ball or bobble that ball. You could have had a much bigger gain there, but they got lucky on a couple extra yards on that fumble.
Yeah, so that was good for about a 4-yard gain for Jeff on another scary play. This time trips here to the bottom of your screen. Shotgun Jeff. And Johnson takes the snap. It'll be a speed option to the left. Pitches to Darian Green, and he's brought down in the backfield. Good for about a 2-yard loss. That'll make it 3rd and 8, Lafayette Jefferson, and a nice play there by the Zionsville defense.
Yeah, that was great. Assignment defense, and Zionsville snuffed that one out. As soon as he pitched the ball, there was 3 guys on the running back, and really good job. I'm not sure who got to the quarterback first, but he forced a quick pitch, which enabled everyone else to get to the ball. So great gang tackling and loss of 2 yards there. So 3rd and long for Lafayette Jeff.
And when it comes to battling this option, Alex, you just want to extend the play to the outside and keep forcing them out until there's nowhere to cut upfield.
Absolutely. You got to work the sidelines for sure and not let them get upfield.
This time, Johnson sprints out to his right. He throws high. It's picked off. A very nice interception by Zionsville. That was number 19. I believe that's Woodard. And he returned it down to the Jeff 12. So that's 2 turnovers and a total of about 5 plays for Lafayette Jeff. And Zionsville in prime scoring position already in the Lafayette Jefferson red zone.
Absolutely, and that's not what you want to do on the first night of football is come out and have 2 turnovers in your first 2 drives. Great job by Woodard. He basically jumped up and just snagged that ball right out of the receiver's hands and took off down the sideline. So very nice job. Zionsville's defense is very impressive, forcing 2 turnovers and even extra fumble that wasn't recovered by Zionsville. So potentially, an earlier turnover than it was.
Zionsville's offense takes right back over. I formation. We have Boxell here to the short side of the field. Namchef alone to the top of your screen. Dunshee looks around. He checks the play. Back under center. Quick drop. He looks. He's got Namchef, and that's Namchef's 2nd touchdown of the night on a quick slant. Good for a 12-yard score, and this is a familiar sight, Alex. This Parker Dunshee to John Namchef, and I think we're going to see a lot of it this year.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that. That was a great play call. Zionsville keeping to the passing game. Why not? It's very effective, and, 2 touchdowns early in 3 minutes in the game. That's pretty impressive, and 2 great drives by Zionsville there to punch that one in. Yeah, Namchef is very impressive, and what a great job by Parker Dunshee to hold onto that ball and let the center clear out so he could throw that slant.
Yeah, he looked off the safety there, and as the safety floated over, Namchef had a window, and he fed the ball right into him. I'm really impressed with Parker. And there's going to be a timeout, Zionsville, as I think they're set on going for 2, but I'm not sure if they had the right play call. So they're going to go for 2 and try to make up the missed extra point on the first touchdown. Alex, from everything we've ever heard about Parker Dunshee is that he's a hard worker, a good kid, smart guy. You had to know that he was only going to get better from last year when you have that kind of work ethic, and then it doesn't hurt that he's got a lot of his big targets coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 1, he's an incredibly intelligent kid. He has that football sense, and he's able to read plays and make good decisions. A quarterback is the best when they take care of the ball and not have, errant turnovers, especially in the red zone. And so far tonight, and even last year, he was very efficient and didn't turn the ball over a lot. So we have a lot of high expectations for Parker Dunshee and the Zionsville offense. We heard all week from one of the coaches that their offense was clicking on all cylinders. So hopefully they can keep going and, really early lead. It'll be interesting to see. I wonder if they're going to slow it down after after they stopped Lafayette Jeff.
Well, we've yet to see a running play from Zionsville, which is unusual. And Coach McWhorter, I think that's a tip your cap to him for mixing it up. And another play action ball is a nice catch there. I couldn't see who that was. Was that Nomchev as well?
I think that was Carson Kennedy.
No, that was Carson Kennedy, the tight end. A nice ball by Parker. Put it where only Kennedy could get it, and even then it was a tough catch made by Carson Kennedy, tiptoeing the sideline. So that'll make the score 14-0 Zionsville about halfway through this first quarter.
Yeah, that was an incredible catch and an even better throw. I mean, Parker Dunshee had to throw that ball a little bit high to get it over the linebacker who's floating out, and Carson Kennedy gets up and grabs it with one hand. This athleticism of this Zionsville offense so far has been very impressive.
Going back to Coach Mack, Alex, I can't help but think, when we were talking before the broadcast, what's going to be the first play, a fullback dive or a halfback dive? But sure enough, I think Coach knows that what the strength of this football team is, and I'm sure enough he's playing to his strengths. He's been around for a long time. This is not his first rodeo.
Absolutely not. And their running back Cole Wynn, he got a lot of experience last year as a sophomore, and he got the nod as the starter tonight. He's a very strong runner, and he's 5'8", 180 pounds. He can move the ball up and down the field, but your guys with the most experience is that passing game, and they've shown that they're going to stick with it and keep going on it.
Ryan Connor's going to make this kickoff for Zionsville. Parker Dunshee made the first two kickoffs and didn't really send him too far, so we're going to see if Connor, and it looks like about the same kick as it dies at the 20, and it's taken again by number 7 for Lafayette Jeff, rather. That's Tim Wilson. He had the big return to start the game. This time, he's brought down at his own 30.
Yeah, and basically the only thing that Zionsville's not done well so far is that kicking game. They're not getting the ball deep enough to make Lafayette Jeff decide whether or not they want to take a long return. But they got to kick the ball down there. When you get the ball on the second level, it's easier to get a return because not everyone gets over there.
Well, that and the missed extra point after the first touchdown. So
absolutely.
Zionsville's had some kicking woes, but boy, have they made up for it on offense and defense with 2 turnovers turned into 2 touchdowns. So the pressure is on Lafayette Jeff early in this ball game. Johnson at quarterback here in the shotgun. He'll hand the ball off to Darian Green, but a flag comes out as the play is stopped. And we'll see what the call is.
Most likely their legal procedure or, it looks like a false start on the offense. So Lafayette Jeff gets out here, and all they're doing is going backwards and turning the ball over. So, and they keep trying to run the ball, which is very unexpected. I really expected Lafayette to come out here and just start running and gunning and just throwing the ball down the field, and so far they haven't. It's gonna be interesting to see with being down 14-0 in the first quarter if that sense of urgency catches up to them. They start throwing the ball.
Well, I haven't followed Jeff in a while, but I know when we were playing and shortly after we were playing, they were always known as kind of an aired-out team.
Absolutely.
And certainly enough, if they keep falling behind here to Zionsville, they're going to have to do that. 4 wideouts as Darian Green shifts to the left side of Johnson. The handoff to Darian Green, and he tries to get outside. He does. And he'll get out for about a 5-yard gain back to the original line of scrimmage. Number 84 for Zionsville there had a chance at him. That was Daniel McCullough, the defensive end. And Darian Green was able to slip out of the tackle. It would have been for a loss, but he got back to the original line. It'll be 2nd and 10, Jeff, from their own 31.
Yeah, it was a great move by the running back there. He made a little move and got a stiff arm on the defensive end for Zionsville and was able to get to the outside. But after that, really nowhere to go but the sideline. So not a bad job.
2nd and 10, Lafayette Jefferson trips to the top of your screen. Johnson here at shotgun. And he will hand off to Darian Green as another missed tackle. That was a close one by Scott Panola as he came storming into the backfield. Big Scott Panola, all 6'4", 220 pounds of him. And that was going to be good for a loss. And I think it was actually a loss of 1 yard on the play. So it'll be 3rd and 11 for Lafayette Jeff, and this is a big 3rd down for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's absolutely big. I mean, if Zionsville stops them, that's once again another big momentum shift. And, Lafayette Jeff's not really doing themselves anything good by getting themselves in 3rd and long. It's not where you want to be when Zionsville knows you're going to throw on 3rd and long. So
this time we'll see 5 wide receivers for Lafayette Jeff. A little bunch formation down here to the bottom of your screen. Johnson looks right, and he throws it. Scott Panola helps break up the pass, but it was a high ball, and it was intended for number, I believe that's 26 for Lafayette Jefferson. That's Carl McQuay.
And it looks like Lafayette Jeff, as expected, is going to bring on the punting unit, even though they're down 14-0. So Zionsville's going to get the ball back, barring a misfielded punt return. But it looks like Nomchef's back there, so I expect something cool to happen here.
All right, Johnson, the punter as well. He barely gets it away and avoids a rush. It's a high punt. Nomchef will take a fair catch at his own 37-yard line. So halfway through the game, 5:47 left in the first quarter, rather. Zionsville's offense will take over again, and let's see if we see a running play here from Zionsville, Alex.
Yeah, I'd almost expect, being up 14-0, that Zionsville's going to go back to the bread and butter and run the ball and try to roll some clock out. And 2 quick scores is great, but Zionsville likes to run the ball up the middle.
Well, it's only the first quarter, so we'll see what they do. As Nomchef comes out to the left, Chris Mason to the right. 2 tight ends. Cole Went is the running back for Zionsville. Dunchie under center. And Parker takes a snap. He drops back again, avoids a sack. He's sprinting to his right, makes a nice cut, and actually comes up with about a 3-yard gain there. He had to elude some rushers. Heavy pressure there by Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, that was a really good job by Lafayette's defensive end to get in there and force Parker to make a move. Parker's a very athletic kid. He's able to get outside and do a little pump fake and get himself positive 3 yards instead of a negative 5-yard loss. So good job by the quarterback, and it was smart not to force a throw right there. A lot of times quarterbacks get outside of the pocket and try to throw across their body, and bad things happen. It goes back to Parker Dunchie taking care of the ball.
It's easy to run fast when big Franco Francisco is after you. 6 foot, 275-pound senior in the middle there for Jeff. Dunchie now back, Zionsville back in the I formation. First run of the ball game to Cole Went. He cuts it up, good for about 4 yards, maybe 5. So it's going to be 3rd and 1 or 2 for Zionsville as they kind of bully their way almost, just past the 45-yard line.
And that's exactly what Zionsville wants to see. The line gave a great surge, opened up a nice hole, and Cole Went had great vision, was able to cut it up and get a 5-yard gain right there. This will be interesting to see what kind of play call Zionsville makes on the 3rd and 1.
Cole Went saw some action late in games last year, and we were really impressed by the way he ran. Runs hard, low to the ground, runs behind his pads. Single back this time with Went, and they drop back. The pass goes to Kennedy as Kennedy runs over a defender, and he takes it into Jeff territory. Nice hard run after the catch by Carson Kennedy. And Zionsville will have 1st and 10 at the Lafayette Jeff 34-yard line.
Yep, and a great play call right there. I think Lafayette Jeff expected the run, and Zionsville did a 3-step drop and hit the tight end on his first read. And Carson Kennedy, that was a heck of a run after he caught that. He was able to break a few tackles and keep spinning and get positive yards after the catch.
He's a big target for Dunchie. He's 6'4", 217. That's what he's listed on the roster here. And he's got nice hands. He had showcased his hands a little bit on that 2-point conversion earlier. I formation here for Zionsville as they hand the ball off to Went, and Went barrels his way through. I really like the way Went runs, and I'm sure Coach Mack likes the way he runs behind his pads and hits the hole hard.
Yeah,
he does not dance around.
That's right. And every time he runs the ball, he's got 2 hands covering the ball and keeps the ball high when he runs. That's great technique. It's hard to strip the ball from someone who has the ball tucked really high up in their pads.
That was a 7-yard gain for Cole, so it'll be 2nd and 3, Zionsville. Just got word up here that Dunchie is 7 for 7 with 124 yards thus far. Keep in mind, we're still in the first quarter. And play action pass. Dunchie looks to Nomchef. It's a little high, off target. That'll be the first incompletion of the game for Parker.
And you can tell Parker's hitting himself on the head. He wants that one back because that was a great route, and his receiver was open. But you got to give credit to Lafayette Jeff's defensive back there. He made a nice play when the ball was high. When it sailed a little bit over his head, he was able to knock Nomchef's hands down, so he didn't catch that.
So another third down for Zionsville as they see their first 2 third downs of the night on this drive. The first one they successfully conquered with a nice pass to Carson Kennedy. More than the pass, it was a nice run after the catch. But Zionsville come in the I formation here. Wisniewski the fullback. And Dunchie will hand it off to Cole Went. He gets hit just past the line of scrimmage, and it'll be just short. It'll be about 4th and 1 at the Jeff 25-yard line, and I expect to see Zionsville go for it here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're in 4-down territory right here, being on the 25-yard line. I think the spot was a little off there. I thought Cole Went was able to put the ball forward and get to a little bit closer to the first down, but we'll see what Zionsville does here. Zionsville's doing a good job in keeping themselves in 3rd and short, being able to manage those 3rd downs.
So first 4th down of the ball game for Zionsville, and the handoff will be to Went. He gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, and you got to put that on the offensive line a little bit. They didn't get enough of a push, but also Cole there needs to pick his head up as he ran right into the back of the offensive lineman, and I don't know. I mean, it's easier said from up here, but up here from the booth, it looked like he might have had room for a cutback.
Yeah,
there.
and it's tough when you're running. Sometimes you see a hole, and then all of a sudden the lineman gets blown back, and that hole's closed. So, I think that Zionsville easily should have gotten that with the surge that the offensive line got, but unfortunately, he ran into his own lineman. So Zionsville will have to take over. It's the first momentum shift that's gone towards Lafayette Jeff here, so let's see what they come out here and do.
At the same time, we should give credit to the interior of the Lafayette Jefferson defense there as they held their ground. And Zionsville turns it over on downs. Johnson gets the shotgun snap. He's all over. He barely eludes the rusher and found a guy open. And he's still not down. That was complete to number 24 there, Lafayette Jeff. And that was Lucas Wallace with the catch, and then took a hit and stayed on his feet and got an extra 5 or 6 yards. A lot happened that play, Alex.
Yeah, that was something else right there. The quarterback was able to elude pretty much a wall of white and green and was able to get out there, and as we see on the replay over there, that's a heck of a catch and run after he caught it. He broke a couple tackles, and he's not really holding that ball securely, but he was able to get out there and make some yards out of that. So that was one of the first positive plays from Lafayette Jeff, and let's see if they can keep going.
1st and 10, Lafayette Jefferson at their own 43-yard line. Motion here, and the handoff is to number 26 as he tries to turn the corner. And a nice job there, gang tackled by the Zionsville defense, led by number 45, Jimmy Morrison. The handoff was to Carl McQuay. And he actually wound up getting 5 yards there as Zionsville tried to string it out along the sideline, but he had enough speed to get to the sideline and make the turn.
Yeah, I think that's what Zionsville wants to do, is just try to push those plays on those jet sweeps all the way to the outside and not let him get that cutback. But, he did a good job of putting his head down and getting a couple extra yards after he was originally hit.
2nd down and 6, Lafayette Jefferson, as the first quarter is ticking down. There's a minute and a half left in the first quarter as there's been a lot of action here to start the game. 4 wideouts for Lafayette Jeff. Darian Green, the running back. And it's a keeper there. And Matt Johnson takes it 2 yards up the middle. 28 was the motion man, Austin Elbrick, and the handoff was a fake, and it kept by Johnson right up the middle.
Yeah, and I like that play call by Lafayette Jeff. They've been trying to spread out the ball by passing outside and also running those jet sweeps, and then they decided to run a quarterback keeper right up the middle. It only got a couple yards, but it was a good play call all in all.
You have to be a very disciplined defense to go up against Lafayette Jeff with all the extracurricular activity that happens before every play and the motions and the possible fakes carried out after the play. You got to be very disciplined.
With all those skilled guys on the outside, you just never know what's going to happen.
Hard count as Johnson looks to the sideline, may change the play. And I think they may.
Looks like there was a timeout.
I think they called a timeout. I think he was looking to try to get a different play.
Having some clock difficulties, pretty normal for the first night of high school football. There's always some kind of weird twist or something that happens that's not normal.
Well, this is a first game for all the players and coaches, but it's also the first game of the year for the referees and first game for us up here in the booth and people who keep the clock, the announcers. So everyone's still trying to get their feet wet. Every season's different. Everything's new.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only been one penalty so far. A lot of times you get out there and make some mistakes that you probably wouldn't make on other than the first week, but it's been a pretty smooth game so far. Quick 2 touchdowns by Zionsville in the first quarter, but other than that, it's been pretty long, sustained drives, one by Zionsville, and then Lafayette Jeff has their first good drive going here.
So it'll be 3rd down and 3 yards to go for Lafayette Jeff. 4 wideouts once again in the spread. This time Darian Green is set to the right of quarterback Matt Johnson. Referees get in place. All right, 3rd and 3, Lafayette Jeff. Matt Johnson takes the handoff. It's another option, a quick pitch to Darian Green, and he had plenty of running room as he's finally pushed out of bounds by number 12 for Zionsville. That was Tyler Glenn, but not after he got a first down into Zionsville territory.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Lafayette Jeff. The quarterback was able to see that the running back was going to have a lot of room to the outside, so he quickly pitched it instead of holding it for his first read. So very good execution right there on that speed option to the right side.
Lafayette Jeff this time comes with a single back formation, a bunch to the right. Johnson up under center for only the second time tonight. The pitch is to Darian Green to the right. He made a nice run there as he made a nice cut up field, eluded some tacklers, and then finished the run strong, especially for a little guy. He's a smaller back. Darian Green's listed at 5'10", 175.
Yeah, and he pretty much carried one of the Zionsville defenders right there. So that was a very impressive run. And Lafayette Jeff's shown some spark after they stopped Zionsville on that 4th and 1.
It'll be 2nd and short for them as we come to the end of the first quarter. Zionsville leads Lafayette Jeff 14-0. We'll switch ends of the field, and Lafayette Jefferson will have 2nd and short at the Zionsville 36-yard line.
And both sides, there's a lot of good and some bad. Lafayette Jeff, you got to minimize those turnovers because right now you're moving the ball, and if it keeps going, you're going to be able to make this a 7-point game. And other than those turnovers, Zionsville's done a great job in the air. Obviously, I think Parker Dunshie's 7 for 8, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. John Nomchef has about 45 yards and 2 touchdowns as well receiving. So Zionsville's shown some serious offense and some quick passes and is able to move the ball well.
Should take a moment to point out how fantastic the facilities here are at Lafayette Jefferson. We're looking at a replay board right now. They get a full video board, nice track surrounding the football field. The field is all turf. Up here in the press box, it's second to none as far as we've seen. They have a whole video editing room in there. It's nicer than a lot of small colleges, I would think, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
This is top-notch up here.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the nicest facilities in the state of Indiana. And, Indiana football is getting bigger and bigger every year. These facilities keep popping up everywhere. Zionsville just built one not long ago. This one's been up for a little bit, and they just keep getting all this turf and nice facilities. And it's nice for the fans and the parents. They can, go to the games comfortably and be able to see replays of their kids playing on the Megatron and all that stuff. So it's very impressive.
2nd and short for the Broncos now. And Johnson's going to be back under center where they've had some success so far tonight. This time a fake pitch and the handoff inside to number 24. He turns the corner, and that was good for probably a 10 to 15-yard gain right there. The handoff underneath went to Lucas Wallace. He made the nice catch earlier when Johnson was scrambling. And a very nice play there, a nice little deceptive type play from Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah, I love that play. They've been running those sweeps out of when the quarterback's under center, they run that sweep to the strong side of the field, and right there they used their motion man, bunched up in the trips, and pretty much ran a trap play right across the middle, and no one was even there. So that was a great play call and very deceptive, like Aaron said.
1st and 10 for Jeff. They have trips down here to the bottom of your screen. Shotgun for Johnson. He takes the snap, looks left, finds... and that again was intended for number 24, Lucas Wallace, right on the numbers, but he dropped it. So That'll be a waste of a down for Lafayette Jefferson. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss those. That was a pretty easy pitch and catch. Quarterback threw it right where he needed to on the numbers. And honestly, with the blockers downfield, he could have had a pretty big gain there. But, a mishap. It's first game of the season, so you're going to have drops. You're going to have turnovers. So not bad, though.
Number 2, Matt Johnson, the quarterback, runs in with the play. And Lafayette Jefferson will come with the exact same formation, trips to the wide side of the field. That's also the bottom of your screen. Darian Green rotates to the left of the quarterback, now back right. So like we said, a lot of movement pre-snap here. And they throw a flag, and I think that had to have been, that was a delay of game. Because it took so long. We saw him shift over, shift behind, shift back right, so...
Yeah, and that's
I was thinking procedure or delay game.
Absolutely, and that's on the quarterback. You have to be out there, manage your clock, watch the play clock. There's play clocks on both sides of the field, so you got to watch that clock carefully and move your men into position and get that play ran. Lafayette Jeff's had a great drive so far, but those kind of penalties, delay of game, legal procedures, those will just back you up and make it a little bit more difficult.
Shotgun here for Matt Johnson. This time, no running back in the backfield. And this time a timeout called before Lafayette Jeff. So it'll be 2nd and 15. The 5-yard penalty backed the Broncos back up to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, and once again, Lafayette they have to burn a timeout, and they only have one left in the first half. The clock is a little messed up. It says there's
that's a
the
timeout
clock. Okay. So far, Zionsville's been able to move the ball. Lafayette Jeff is moving the ball right now, faced with a 2nd and 15 here. They came out right there in that formation with 5 wide, so we'll see what they do here. I'm expecting them to pass the ball to try to make up some of that penalty and get back to a manageable 3rd down.
This has felt like a long drive. We don't have the luxury of having the numbers up here, but I would say we got to be approaching play number 10. And it lasted through the end of the first quarter and now a couple minutes into the second quarter. So they put together a nice drive, but they've got down into Zionsville territory, shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that delay of game. So 2nd and long here for Lafayette Jeff. We'll see what they can string together.
It looks like they're going back with the 5 wide, so we'll see what they do.
All right, whistle blows, and here we go. Johnson takes the snap. He looks deep. He throws it way too deep, and it was picked off by the safety for Zionsville. That's number 41, and that is Jackson Schaefer, and he plays defensive back for the Eagles. He played a little bit last year, and that was kind of a gimme right there as the ball just sailed well too high over the receiver's head, and Zionsville will take over at their own 6-yard line.
Yeah, and I think Jackson Schaefer last year was listed as a linebacker, so the move to safety, has some speed, was able to make a nice break on the ball. Like Aaron said, the ball was a little bit overthrown, but a very nice diving catch to keep the ball trapped and from hitting the ground. And Zionsville, here they come off another turnover.
I formation for Zionsville as Parker Dunchie has 94 yards ahead of him. Ball is snapped. Dunchie hands off to the fullback, Wisniewski. He breaks a tackle, and then he's finally stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. That'll be no gain there. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, and the Zionsville offensive line, once again, needs a little bit more push there to get that play going. They're just trying to buy them some space to work with as they're backed up to their own end zone.
Yeah, they sure are. And this defensive front for Lafayette Jeff is... There's some big boys out there. They got to be averaging about 265, 270, which is pretty large for a high school team. And the offensive line for Zionsville is only averaging about 240, so they've got the size advantage for sure.
Single back this time for Zionsville with Cole Went, the lone back. Dunchie takes a quick drop. He's found Namchef, and that was a beautiful throw and a great catch by Namchef. And this duo just keeps on, making catch after catch and throw after throw, and they're just Mr. Reliable out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very gutsy throw. there wasn't a very big window on that slant because Zionsville ran that slant a few times, so Lafayette Jeff is starting to realize that that's coming. But a very nice ball, and he ripped it through there, and Namchef makes a catch, falls down, gets a first down.
That was a 14-yard gain there. Good for a first down as Zionsville sets up at their own 20-yard line. Single back formation again. This time Wisniewski, the fullback, is in motion. And it's a quick pass, but the flag is thrown before, and I think that's going to be a procedure. I'm not sure if Wisniewski turned up field before the snap was made.
Yeah, and that's the Zionsville's first penalty, and it looks like it was an illegal procedure or a false start. I'm not sure if the motion man was set before the ball was snapped, but Zionsville's first mistake. After those first two series when they were pretty much perfect, Zionsville's made a few mistakes in this third and fourth series here.
So it'll be 1st and 15 Zionsville at their own 15-yard line. And we talked about the size differential, and you can definitely see it from up here as Lafayette Jefferson does have some big boys up front. We're looking at 290. We have a guy listed at 345, 275, 285. So they got their work cut out for them, Zionsville does, to run the ball. Dunshee back to pass again. Looks downfield, and he's got Chris Mason. A nice throw and catch. Good for 20 yards and another Zionsville first down.
Yeah, that was Zionsville's passing attack right now is just killing Lafayette Jeff's secondary. They're not able to get enough pressure on Parker Dunshee, and he's just back there throwing lasers to the receivers, and very, very well executed, and very nice route running by Chris Mason there. That was pretty much a 10 yards and cut to the inside, and he was pretty much wide open. So great execution by both receiver and quarterback.
I formation again for Zionsville. And Wisniewski is your fullback with Cole Went, the running back. Namchef is in motion down here towards the bottom of your screen. And the handoff will go to Went, and Went busts through up the middle that's a good 10, 11-yard gain, and that's what you like to see from your running back, just hitting the hole hard. I can't say enough about how he runs the football.
Yeah, me either, partner. He's a great runner, and that's running the ball comes a lot easier when your passing attack is going so smoothly. If you're throwing 15-yard passes and moving those secondary back, that second level is going to be back as well with the linebackers. So being able to run the ball up the middle, it's basically one-on-one or two-on-one with the defensive lineman and the offensive line, and they're making their calls together and having really good success.
We have about 9.5 minutes left in the first half. Zionsville I formation at their own 45. The handoff, no, it was pulled by Parker Dunshee. An option play there as Dunshee faked the handoff to the fullback Wisniewski and ran around the left-hand side, and that was good for about an 8-9 yard run by Parker Dunshee.
Yeah, that was a great play. It's the first time Zionsville's ran that triple option right there, and they do a very good job executing that. Parker Dunshee, expectedly pulled the ball right there when the defensive end crashed down and was able to cut up and make a nice 9-yard run out of that. So Zionsville's moving the ball once again, finally into Lafayette Jefferson's territory on the 46-yard line.
And this time Dunshee will work out of the shotgun in an unfamiliar formation that we haven't seen. Cole Went is not in the backfield. I'm not sure who that is from here. It might be Scott Panola. And there was a false start before the play. So Zionsville was looking at a 2nd and 1. They're going to look at about 2nd and 6 now, as it'll push them back closer to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like the offensive guard on the left side just got a little antsy there and was expecting a big push on that 2nd and 1 and just jump before the ball snapped. So
that would be Eric Whiteholter.
Yeah, he's
we
a
talked
good
about
lineman.
The size of the Lafayette Jeff defensive line, but also the Zionsville receivers have good size. Carson Kennedy is listed at 6'4", and then John Namchef and Chris Mason are also listed at 6'4", so Dunshee's got some big targets as he swings the ball out here to the right to Namchef, and Namchef might have got a first down. I think they marked it a little short, but I thought as he was flung down by the defender, I don't think his knee touched. He'll be about a yard short into Lafayette Jeff territory. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, and once again, Zionsville's been able to keep these in 3rd and short and manageable third downs where they can get this yardage. So let's see what play call they make here, and hopefully they can keep this drive going because it's been a very successful drive in the air and on the ground.
And the single back this time, I believe, is Scott Panola. I can't make out the number. Does that look like 26, Alex?
I think so, yeah.
I think that's Scott Panola, the linebacker. Wisniewski motions. And no, it's number 24, and that's good for about a 4-yard gain. And that was Kyle Sheehan. He's listed as a running back here on the roster. He's 5'11", 154. Only a sophomore, so that's nice for a sophomore to get some carries. It's hard to find playing time early.
Yeah, and actually there's actually two 24s on the offense, and they're both running backs. And I think actually that was Joe Einters, a 6'3", 196 senior. So they go with the bigger back to try to get that 1-yard push, and were successful in doing so. That was a great run. He put his head down, was able to just kind of drag a tackler over that first down marker, and so Zionsville keeps the drive going, and here we go.
That's the second or third time I've been fooled by the double numbers in the last couple of years. So it is Joe Einhurst at running back. Wisniewski motions again, and the handoff to Einhurst again as he barrels forward. And that was good for about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6 Zionsville. I think the ball will be spotted at the Lafayette Jeff 38-yard line.
And I know Zionsville emphasizes trying to get 4 yards every run, and by mathematically with 10 yards in 3 plays you'll have a first down. So very successful on that first down there, and Zionsville is just moving the ball great. That running game is starting to click, and the offensive line, despite Lafayette Jeff being so big up front, that offensive line of Zionsville is able to make calls and get a nice push and open up holes for the running backs.
Well, these long drives are certainly going to wear out those big boys up front for Lafayette Jefferson. Single back this time is Went. He takes the handoff, and now the holes are really starting to open up as Cole Went, good for about, I'd say, an 8-yard gain inside the Lafayette Jeff 30. And as you just stated, they're starting to gash him a little bit on the ground, and I think the longer the game goes, it's nice to have those big guys up front, but if you sustain drives and make long drives, this one started at their own 6-yard line. Those guys got to be getting tired towards the end, and I've seen them substitute out a few guys as this series has gone on.
Yeah, they're certainly getting tired, and Zionsville has had the ball the majority of this game, other than Lafayette Jeff's long run or long drive that ended up in a turnover. Zionsville's been on offense pretty much the whole time, so they've got to be tired up there.
Dungy takes a 3-step drop. He's got no one. He sprints left, and he's looking, and he fumbles. And I'm not sure who's got the ball. It looks like Lafayette Jeff, and right there, that was just a case of Parker trying to make something out of nothing. He had nowhere to go with the ball, and he was scrambling, and unfortunately had the ball away from his body as it was tipped when he was getting sacked.
Yeah, and as a senior, he knows he needed to throw that ball away once he got out to the left. But, when you're out there, you want to make something fun happen, and Lafayette Jeff was able to get right in his face and force a turnover. So Zionsville makes that long drive and then turns the ball over, and it's similar to what Lafayette Jeff did last drive. So Zionsville's only up 14 points. This is absolutely a ball game so far.
Yeah, Lafayette Jeff has kind of stopped the bleeding after that barrage they took in the first quarter. We're halfway through the second quarter, and they're still only down 14-0. They'll take over the ball at their own 36-yard line. And a high snap, but it's handed off to... Oh, and it's going to be a long touchdown, as that might have been Darian Green, the running back. And that's good for a 64-yard run, and this is a one-possession game now as Lafayette Jeff, barring the extra point, will go down one touchdown. It's 14-6 Zionsville here about midway through the second quarter. A nice run there, Alex.
Yeah, that was a great run and an awesome job by the offensive line to open up that hole. That running back's got some serious speed when he's out in the open, and that once he got to that second line, he was able to break one tackle, and he was gone. There was no one touching him. So great job by Lafayette Jeff to strike back after the turnover. So far tonight, the game has been turnovers and points off turnovers.
And this will be the extra point attempted here by Lafayette Jeff. And it looks like he booted it through. So it's 14-7 Zionsville with 5:35 left remaining in the ball game. Lafayette Jeff got the kickoff first. That was their fifth drive, I believe. Their drive summary kind of went turnover, punt, turnover, touchdown. So a really rough start to the game for Lafayette Jeff, but maybe they've turned it around here.
Absolutely, and controversially, Zionsville got the turnover, touchdown, turnover on downs, and then that fumble right there. So It's absolutely been a momentum shift, and Lafayette Jeff has a lot of the momentum right now. So let's see how they go out on defense and see what they can do, trying to stop this high speed attack from Zionsville.
We'll see the first kickoff of the night here from Lafayette Jeff. Looks like the kicker is number 1. That's Alex Baker. He's a junior. And they're going to kick off from the left hash of their own 40-yard line. The returners deep for Zionsville is John Nomchef, and number 4, is that Colton Smith?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Number 4, Colton Smith, and number 2, John Nomchef, set to return here. And Zionsville will attempt its first kickoff return of the year.
Yeah, and I would expect, knowing how fast Nomchef is and how good of a receiver and gets in the open space, I would expect them not to kick to him. But we'll see what they do here.
The ball is on the left hash, and their whole team basically is on the left side of the field. It would be scary to kick away from that. So they're just going to kick it down to Nomchef. He takes the ball right outside of the 10-yard line. He's cutting through, knifing through defenders. A very nice return there by John Nomchef out to the 40-yard line. So Zionsville will have a relatively short field to work with here after the nice return there by John.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great return. The kick wasn't very long, and Nomchef was smart enough to go to, like you said, away from that side where all the kickoff team was. So very good run in open space, and let's see what Zionsville can do coming off of that turnover and touchdown by Lafayette Jeff.
And Jefferson has, I believe that's 78 down there, right? Cameron Ulmer.
Yes.
Listed at 6 foot, 345 pounds. I'm going to watch him on this play, and he blows through the line, but it's a trap play. And Wisniewski gets the handoff, and that's perfectly set up for a guy like that is Ulmer, who's listed at 6 foot, 345. You don't block him. He blows through the line, and the handoff comes right underneath him as the pulling guard got a nice hit on him. You barely even have to touch him at this point because his momentum takes him so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great play call right there. With those big guys up front, they're hungry to get to the ball, and with that trap, they absolutely trapped him, and Wisniewski was able to get a nice carry there.
So it'll be 2nd and 5, Zionsville at their own 45. And Dunchie makes the pitch to Cole Wint. He's got a lot of room to work with. He makes a nice cut, and he will not fumble the ball, Alex. And that was about a 30-yard run, and he had some open field there where you're expecting him to break it away, but he's still carrying that ball 2 hands, carrying the ball high. But, hey, you got a lot of trust in him because you know he's not going to turn the ball over. I'd be very surprised if we see a fumble from him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And, I don't want to curse him, but, he could easily fumble. But, yeah, he keeps that ball high even if he's in open space, and I'm sure the coaches appreciate that ball security no matter what it is.
So Joe Einhurst checked in at running back for Cole Wint. I formation for Zionsville here as Parker takes the handoff, and it goes to Joe, and he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe gained a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and long for Zionsville as they're at about the 22-yard line of Lafayette Jeff.
And Einhurst has a little bit more of a up-high running style than that of Cole Wint, so he still runs strong, but he doesn't have that forward motion. A lot of times Cole Wint, when he's moving, he looks like he's going to fall down unless someone's hitting him. So he's just a lot stronger runner with Cole Wint. But Einhurst is doing well out here.
I think some of it is the running style, and some of it is just Cole Wint's 5'8", and the other guy's 6'3".
Absolutely, yeah.
Shotgun for Dunchie. He sprints out to his left, looking downfield. He doesn't have anyone. This time he'll tuck it and go down. Good for about a 3-yard gain. And that was he probably had a similar decision-making process as the last time when he fumbled it. This time he decides, I'm not going to try to do too much. I'm going to tuck the ball, get a few yards, and move on to the next play. So learning from his mistake from the first time, that's what you like to see out of your quarterback, not making the same mistake twice.
Absolutely, and it looks like Lafayette Jeff has made a couple adjustments on defense to whenever there's twins on the other side of the field, they bring an extra DB over there to help cover, and since they've been doing that, Zionsville's not been able to throw the ball as successfully as they did in the first quarter.
3rd and 7 for Zionsville at the Lafayette Jeff 20-yard line. I formation with Cole Wint in the backfield. The handoff will go to Wint. He busts through a tackler, and he is right at the first down marker. It'll be interesting to see if they need a measurement or not for this.
I'm expecting they will just because it's 4th down, but that was a great run. He got hit right at the line of scrimmage and was able to just barrel through that first tackler and get right to the marker. So
they are going to take a minute to measure this one. Right now, the Plainfield chain gang over there has it marked a little short.
Yeah, right now it's looking a little short, like you said. Do you think it's 4th and 1? You're going to go for it from the 14-yard line?
Just based on what I've seen, and it's not much, but just the botched extra point earlier wouldn't make me feel too confident when you have a running game working right now like you do Zionsville.
Absolutely, and it looks like Zionsville is short about 6 inches, so decision time for the Zionsville coaches as we wait and see what they're going to do, and it looks like Parker Dungy absolutely wants to go for it, as expected, and as the play comes in, it looks like they will go for it here.
So it'll be 4th and about a half a foot for Zionsville at the Lafayette Jeff 13-yard line. The ball spotted. It's on the left hash. Zionsville will come to the line. We're going to expect a run here, but we've seen a lot of throws tonight from Zionsville in unexpected times. Cole Wint and Steven Wisniewski in the I formation.
And boy, oh boy, you have one-on-one coverage down here with Namchef, and let's see what they do
Jeff
here.
has stacked the box here. And the handoff to Wisniewski, he initially got stood up, but kept churning those legs and finally got it. That was a pretty nice stand there by Lafayette Jeff, but Zionsville, only needing a half a foot, was able to convert.
It sure was, and a lot of credit to Lafayette Jeff. Those big guys down there, they are fighting those trenches. It's just they're getting double teamed on it because I think they only have 3 guys on the line. And they're doing a good job up there. It's just they're having trouble getting through that first line.
It'll be 1st and 10 Zionsville at the Lafayette Jeff 12-yard line. The clock's ticking down. About 2 minutes left in this half. Zionsville leading 14-7. They'd sure like to get a score before half. They'll get the ball back to start the second half, Zionsville will. Cole Wentz, your single back here. And the handoff is to him as he dives forward and the pile moves along with him. That'll be down. He'll be down about the 5-yard line, so that's good for a 7-yard carry. Zionsville still can get a first down if they get inside the Lafayette Jeff 2. So keep that in mind. I guess Zionsville will keep that in mind with these next play calls.
Absolutely, and I think on 2nd down and almost goal, it's not quite 2nd down and goal, you'd expect them to maybe try to throw one here, wouldn't you?
Knowing that you can get a first down, you have 2 carries to get a first down and 3 yards, and the way they've run the ball, I might it's going to be a tough call. I think it's a 50-50 call, and I think we'll find out here in just 1 second. And it'll be a handoff to Cole Wint. He barrels inside, and like I was thinking, that's good for a first down right at the goal line. You got 4 downs to punch it in. You got a big running back, a big fullback, and an offensive line that's working hard. I think that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, that was a good call, partner. Sometimes they take a shot when it's 2nd down just because they have that extra down to try to get the first down. But great call there, and they have 1st and goal from about the looks like 6-inch yard line. So we'll see what they do here.
The clock is running down. I might expect to see Parker just keep it himself. If not, we'll see Wisniewski get the ball. They literally have a foot to go. They give it to Wisniewski, the fullback, and he is stopped behind the goal line.
What a tackle, but it looks like that was the defensive end of Lafayette Jeff. He crashed so hard and was able to take down Wisniewski, and that's a big kid to take down within that little area he had. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, Zionsville will call a timeout. There's 35 seconds remaining in the half. They're threatening right on the goal line. I mean, the ball is literally about to touch the goal line, so I could see another handoff to Wisniewski, same play.
Or even a quarterback keeper right here.
Yeah, you only need to cross the plane. You only need about a foot. Granted, the defensive line for Lafayette Jeff is built for situations like these. They're going to be a great fourth and short, third and short, goal line defense all year long just because of the size they can produce up front.
Absolutely, and in Zionsville here, the way this game has gone, they need a touchdown. They started off 14-0 real quick within 3 minutes of the game, and since then they've been pretty much shut down. A turnover on downs, and they've got to punch one in to kind of get the momentum back, because Lafayette Jeff has done a really good job on these pressure times when Zionsville looks like they're going to take it down and score. Get a turnover, then they get a turnover on downs. So Lafayette Jeff here could either make a stand or Zionsville could score here and take the momentum back going into halftime.
Zionsville comes out of the timeout. And 35 seconds left. Dungy's going to be under center. I expect to see a handoff to his... No, it's a nice little quarterback sneak, and Parker Dungy runs the ball in standing up. Parker Dungy has just accounted for his third touchdown of the game. He has thrown 2 to John Nomchef and now rushed for 1. Zionsville takes a 20-7 lead, and the extra point team, the PAT team, will get their second go-round here with kicker Ryan Connor. They could not convert the first extra point. The holder's Avery Boxell for Zionsville. It's a low snap on the ground, but Boxell recovered, and he pushed it again, which he pushed it at the other side too. He missed wide right on both ends, so another missed extra point. And if you can, play devil's advocate to all the good things Zionsville's done tonight, the one thing you would talk about is maybe their kicking game thus far. Special teams in general giving up the 2 big kickoff returns.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the other day how we don't understand why sometimes high schools don't just go for 2 every single time, other than the practice with the field goal unit and pressure times when you actually need a field goal. But, going for 2 seems like a lot of schools do decide to do that. Not that we've seen, but, I've heard of high schools just always going for 2. It's an extra 2 points. And it adds up for more touchdowns, and it puts more pressure on the other team to have to convert those as well. So sometimes I feel like it's not a bad idea to do that.
Yeah, I know we both like it. Doesn't seem like a lot of coaches do for one reason or another.
Well, it's certainly not very conventional to do.
No,
2-point
and especially not
time.
against a defense like this. Getting 2 rushing. 2 yards in high school football, or 2 or 3 yards, you don't really think of as a lot with the way you can run the ball a lot of times in high school. But a defense like this, especially, it'd be hard against. But I'm still waiting. I'm still hopeful that we're going to find a coach who does it, so that'll solidify our thoughts and make us feel a little smarter.
That's right.
Kickoff by Connor is taken up at the 10-yard line, and it looks like it might be Durian Green again, and he's finally brought down. He bounced around and made defenders miss and stayed up for a while, but never really went anywhere.
He almost squeaked through there, though. He broke a few tackles and was almost able to break that out and make something happen. But looks like Zionsville's going to go into halftime with a 20-7 lead. There's about 23 seconds left, but I don't expect Lafayette Jeff to try anything crazy here.
Yeah, Lafayette Jeff's going to have the ball at about their own 25-yard line, and we'll probably see one play from them, and they'll try to go into halftime and make some adjustments. As I've said before, Zionsville will start the second half with the ball, and they'll be looking to build on their lead. Scott Panola making some calls on defense, the linebacker, senior. And he's looking deep. The quarterback, Matt Johnson, he has no one, so he scrambles left, and he's still looking, scrambling back right. He's got a lot of room to run. He's going to get almost to midfield. And I think they're going to call a flag for a late hit out of bounds, which I personally think was a very, very questionable call. The defender for Zionsville dove toward the quarterback while he was still in bounds.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those effort penalties. The Zionsville guy's trying to keep him in bounds and get that tackle, and he ends up hitting him on his way out of bounds, and that's going to move the ball 15 yards further up. So with 10 seconds left, Lafayette Jeff, they can make a throw to the sideline and get an attempt at a field goal, or, now they're in position to throw one to the end zone. So, we saw this a couple times last year with Zionsville, those errant penalties towards the end of the half, when all they have to do is just make a solid tackle and not do anything dumb. And so here's Lafayette Jeff with a chance to get some points on the board before halftime.
Well, it was a really good job by Matt Johnson. That was the first time he got to really showcase his speed tonight as he was eluding Zionsville defenders. I think they only rushed 4 there, and dropped everyone else back, and he was able to finally buy some time and get away and elude a couple defenders and got about a 23-yard run down the sideline, capped off by a 15-yard penalty. 10 seconds left. Matt Johnson takes the snap again. He's rolling right, throws deep. It's very deep. Jump ball in the end zone.
And I think
it was
it's incomplete.
It was an incomplete. Number 7 that was Tim Wilson, number 7 for the Broncos, had his first shot at it. It was batted out of the air, and then I thought number 19 for Zionsville was going to come down with it. That's Josh Woodard.
And that would have been his second pick of the game, but that was a really good throw. Really gave his receivers a chance, put it in front of them, and that looked scary for a second.
2.5 seconds remaining in the half as Lafayette Jeff calls a timeout. They'll draw up another play to try to get in the end zone here and try to crack into this deficit a little bit. They're losing to Zionsville right now 20-7. They've been trailing all game from the get-go. At one point, they were down 14-7 before they scored, and Zionsville tacked on another touchdown here towards the end of the half, but couldn't convert the extra point.
That's something that you don't really expect from Zionsville, or those missed extra points. Last year it was the same exact kicker, and there weren't very many of those, and to have 2 in the first game is pretty rare.
There's about 10 seconds left in the timeout, and we'll see probably one final heave from Lafayette Jeff, unless they're coming up with maybe a little bit more trickery. They're not going to have a chance to run a play and get into field goal range with only 2 seconds left. They're going to have to go to the end zone in some fashion.
Yeah, and this is the time where Zionsville does not need to let anyone behind them and go for that jump ball, just bat the ball down and go into halftime with a 13-point lead.
They have 5 wide outs, 3 to the bottom of your screen, and the refs stop the game again. It'll be another timeout by Lafayette Jeff, so they're going to use both timeouts. They're really looking to try to draw something up here, Alex, to end the half.
Yeah, I did not expect them to use both those timeouts right there, and it looks like they are going to try to draw something up here. It looks like the coach is out there talking some strategy there, and I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a hook and ladder in high school, but you never know.
They just wanted to see what Zionsville's defensive formation looked like against their 5 wide outs.
Sure, and it looked like Zionsville was in that prevent where the safeties are way back and even the corners and linebackers start way back. So I think they're going to expect, a throw to the end zone. It's just all about execution. Either they're going to catch it or you're going to knock the ball down. So decide it.
And they'll take the field one last time to end this first half. Lafayette Jefferson will. Same setup, 5 wide outs with Matt Johnson, the shotgun quarterback. He sprints out to his left. He's getting chased, and he eludes some pressure, runs back across field. And, a big hit by the Lafayette Jefferson offensive lineman. The throw is to the back of the end zone. Curling back came the offensive lineman for Lafayette Jeff. That was big number 72, Robbie Alvarado. 5'8", 285, put all of himself into the Zionsville defender. Number 48 for Zionsville took quite a shot there.
I think it was Zach Profakak or Riley Pokrafak.
And he was slow walking up the field. He looks to be down on the sideline now. Zionsville will go into halftime leading 20-7 against the Lafayette Jefferson Broncos. We're broadcasting live from Lafayette Jefferson High School in Lafayette, Indiana. We're going to take a break. Come back to you shortly before the start of the second half. Hopefully have some stats for you, and we'll bring the second half of football for you live from IHSAA. This is Audio Sports Online. We'll be back. We're back to bring you the second half here from Lafayette Jefferson High School in Lafayette, Indiana. Score being Zionsville 20, Lafayette Jeff 7. Alex, I think you have some halftime stats for us to go over.
I sure do. The total yardage for both teams, it's about 170 to about 144. And Zionsville's pretty much dominated the line of scrimmage as well as the total yards. Lafayette Jeff, big story is the turnovers. They have 3 turnovers to Zionsville's 1. Passing for Zionsville, looks like Parker Dunshee went 10 for 11, 162 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is pretty phenomenal. The only incompletion was one that he just sailed a little bit over Namchef's head, which he wanted back. And they're rushing the ball very well as well. 22 carries on 107 yards and 1 touchdown. Lafayette Jeff on the other side passing 2 for 8, 22 yards, 2 interceptions. Their rushing game had done pretty well. They had about a 65-yard rushing touchdown by Darren Green. And they have 12 carries on 121 yards and 1 touchdown. So Lafayette Jeff is winning the battle on the rushing yards, but Zionsville's clearly dominating with the passing game, which they kind of went away from after that first quarter of dominance. So it'll be interesting to see what they do to come back here. And what are you expecting from both teams, Aaron?
Well, the stats that stick out the most for me for each team is Lafayette Jeff, obviously the turnovers. 3 turnovers that really hurt them. Zionsville converted 2 of those into touchdowns. The stat that sticks out to me for Zionsville is, I guess, just the balance between passing and running the ball. We saw them come out, lighting the world on fire through the air to start the first quarter, and then they kind of went to the ground game, which I think you were kind of expecting. And just the balance of the first half and how they kept Lafayette Jefferson off balance. They had to honor the run, and obviously they had to honor the pass from the start of the game. Second half, I look for Zionsville to maybe come out just like they did the first half and open it up a little bit. I think they want to get a score quickly. I think they want to pile on. And, I mean, if Zionsville gets the ball and scores quick here and makes it a 27 or 28-7 game, then with only a half to play, you're looking at Lafayette Jeff having to start forcing the issue. They're going to have to start throwing the ball.
And to put what you were saying in perspective, Zionsville started out the game 7 passes straight, did not run the ball at all, and after that, they only threw 4 passes. So, within the first 3 minutes of the game, Zionsville had 7 of their passes, and they were 7 for 7 with passing with about 160 yards or 130 yards. And then from there on out, all the rest of the first quarter and the second quarter, they ran the ball pretty much. So, it could have been a much bigger game. I think if Zionsville would have stuck to the pass and kept that success going with there, they could have a much bigger score here. But nonetheless, Zionsville is up 20-7, and Zionsville will get the ball back to start the second half. And we'll see how they do here. Looks like they're getting ready to go.
Yeah, we'll see the second kickoff return of the night for Zionsville. The first time they put back John Namchef, and they also put back number 4, Colton Smith. And it looks like they're going to do the same here. Namchef had a nice return his first go-around. He took it out to the Zionsville 40-yard line. And I think that was the return that might have set up that last scoring drive.
Yeah, it sure was. And it was right after Lafayette Jeff scored. That's a great thing. When your offense can go out there after the other team scores and put points on the board, that shows a lot for your team and being able to bounce back. And, every single touchdown tonight that's been scored other than Zionsville's last one were off turnovers. So turnovers continue to be the big story here tonight, and we'll see how both teams, make their changes and go with that and try to protect the ball a little bit better.
Well, we're set to kick off this second half. Kicker for Lafayette Jeff here is going to be Alex Baker again. And they're going to kick off from the left hash. Kickoff is from the Lafayette Jeff 40-yard line, and it's in the air. It's straight down to Namchef inside the 10. He looks for an opening and follows his blocks, eludes a tackler, and finally is brought down at the 30-yard line. There's a flag, which is usually in the area of holding or blocking the back.
Yeah, but that was a great move by John Namchef. He did a little side shuffle step and was able to get outside and then got tripped up a little bit. But, yeah, like you said, partner, I think we might be coming back 10 yards or maybe even 15 on an illegal block in the back.
It'll be a spot foul.
Absolutely. And as the referees discuss,
it's a chop block.
Is that what they call chop block?
Chop block below the knees, yep.
Yeah, that'll be 15 yards back. So after a good return, Zionsville's going to still start deep in their own territory right around the 15-yard line.
We're waiting for the referees to spot the ball. They're taking a little bit of time to get this call right. And it is a chop block, and they're marking it off. This is going to be quite a big penalty, actually, for Zionsville. Namchef took the ball out to the 30-yard line, but it looks like they're going to set up at the 14. So it was a 15-yard penalty. And I don't think it is a spot foul because that's a personal foul call. On a holding, you'll see a spot foul. Well, they'll mark it off 10 yards from the spot of the hold.
Yeah.
So Zionsville's going to start this half in the I formation with Wisniewski at fullback and Cole Wynn at tailback. John Namchef and Chris Mason are your receivers in the ball game. Carson Kennedy's the tight end. Parker Dunchey takes the snap from under center. A hard count trying to draw Lafayette Jeff off sides, but I think there might have been a flinch there from the Zionsville offense.
No, Zionsville's clapping. It looks like they might have called encroachment on Lafayette Jeff here.
I saw the player that came up to the line of scrimmage, a linebacker, jumped on the hard count by Dunchey, but I didn't think he crossed the line. Nonetheless, the Eagles will get 5 free yards. It'll be 1st and 5 Zionsville, and it'll help get back some of those yards from the penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting on 1st and 5 is a lot easier than 1st and 10, obviously, and you'll see what Zionsville does here.
I formation, Parker Dunchey again under center. This time the handoff is to Cole Wynn. He's got a little room as he barrels forward, good for a 1st down on a 6-yard carry out to the Zionsville 27-yard line.
So despite Zionsville not throwing the ball much in the second quarter, they come out here with a nice run and are able to pick up that 1st down after that penalty. So Zionsville's already gotten 1 1st down on their first play. So good execution, and we'll see what they can keep doing here.
Avery Boxwell checked in the ball game at wide receiver. Here on the bottom of your screen, Namchef has the wide side of the field, the strong side of the field where Carson Kennedy is. Namchef now in motion down here, and the pitch to Cole Wynn, and he turns it upfield, good for another 7-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 3rd for Zionsville.
Yeah, once again, a great surge by the offensive line, and this time instead of running up the middle, Zionsville did a little sweep play, and Cole Wynn used great vision and was able to get upfield and get a nice 8-yard gain. So Zionsville's successfully moving the ball and is able to get themselves in 2nd and short and set themselves up for a potential play action here.
Chris Mason and Namchef are your receivers. I formation again for Zionsville. This will be the 3rd play in a row from the I. Parker Dunchey checks with his receivers. Back under center. Takes the snap, hands off to the left side to Cole Wynn. He spins off a tackle, and then he's buried. He was buried by number 30 for Lafayette Jefferson. That is Irving Madden.
Yeah, that was a fantastic play. You know, when you're a running back, whenever you turn your back, you never know what's going to happen next, and he got buried pretty hard by number 30. It was a great play on defense, and Zionsville's at a 3rd and 2 here, and this could be a very good stop for Lafayette Jeff if they can make Zionsville get stopped here and stop their momentum.
And that's the first time we've seen Cole Wynn make any sort of a move, really, with the spin move there. He's been a straight north and south runner, tried to create something as he was stopped at the line and got buried behind the line of scrimmage, or right at the line of scrimmage, rather. 3rd and 2, Zionsville. The pitch again to Wynn. He turns it up and gets tripped up as he crosses the 40, but picks up about 5 yards. The ball will be at the Zionsville 42-yard line, 1st down Zionsville.
Yep, once again, great run, great execution. Zionsville's able to pick up that 3rd down and get the 1st down, and Zionsville's keep moving the ball. They started on their own 15-yard line. They're already to the 42, so Zionsville comes out after the halftime, and they're working the clock, and they're running the ball. So very good job so far.
I would look for Zionsville to maybe possibly take a shot deep as they're drawing in defenders as they continuously move the ball on the ground. Now a drop back by Dunchey. He has to scramble. He tucks it away this time and is brought down for about a 3-yard gain, so not a bad play. The defensive end got freed up there for Lafayette Jeff, and Dunchey had to scramble, trying to catch a number on the defensive end there that caused the pressure, but can't quite catch it.
Yeah, nevertheless, it was a great play. The defensive end came across the line and got right in Parker Dunchey's face, and instead of throwing that quick 3-step drop, he had to roll out outside of the defensive end, and he still got 3 yards, though, 4 yards. So Zionsville's faced with a 2nd and 6.
Second down and 6, Zionsville. Avery Boxell and Nomchef are your receivers. Cole Wentz still in at tailback. And the handoff to Wisniewski right up the middle as he dances looking for some room. Got about a 2-yard gain there. It'll be third down and about 4 yards to go for Zionsville as they try to cross into Lafayette Jefferson territory. They're right just short of midfield.
Yeah, and that was a nice play call there. They trapped the defensive lineman, but the linebackers were right up in there and weren't expecting anything less. Lafayette Jeff is kind of getting sucked up in here on these inside runs, so we'll see if Zionsville decides to go into the air on here on this third down and 4.
Third and 4, Zionsville. Chris Mason checks back in the game for Boxell as he's been running the play in back and forth. Parker Dunchey under center, Zionsville in the I formation, showing a blitz from Lafayette Jefferson. He gets picked up nicely by Zionsville, but Dunchey still has to scramble, turns upfield looking for some room and can't quite find it. He gets just about back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll be fourth down Zionsville, and I'm imagining we'll see them punt it away here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great defensive play by number 49 on Lafayette Jeff. Wasn't able to catch his name, but that was a good job. He came up there and made a nice hit when the quarterback was trying to scramble, and Zionsville stopped. So Lafayette Jeff has a chance here to get the ball back and make something happen here.
It was a good blitz pickup by the O-line, and as Dunchey really settled into his drop, a guy came free, and he had to evade him. Dunchey's going to punt here. A bad snap. Dunchey fumbles it and picks it up and tries to punt it. It's blocked, and he tries to... I'm not sure how they're going to call that, Alex. To kind of replay it for you at home, the snap was low, then Dunchey fumbled it, tried to kick it. Kick was blocked. And a Lafayette Jefferson player tried to field the blocked kick, and it fell off of him. Yeah, long story short, Lafayette Jeff takes over at about the same spot the play started at.
Yeah, and once again, these special teams woes for Zionsville just continue to pile up, and a simple punt play. That was their first punt of the night, but you don't want to fumble the punt and then not be able to get it off. And once again, that's a scary play, having your starting quarterback back there. Not having him getting able to get the ball off. I've seen punters get hurt when the ball gets blocked and their legs get taken out. So, kind of a dangerous play there.
Well, I'm not sure who the long snapper is, but a number of snaps tonight have been low, including that one. And the handoff this time to Darian Green. He breaks a tackle. He's super speedy around the outside and is finally brought out of bounds. And not after a first down, though. He picked up 11 yards down to the Zionsville 35-yard line. And as I was saying, the long snapper, we're not sure who it is up here, but I've noticed on the extra points, I think both snaps were low. And then there on the punt, the snap was low. But Zionsville's really had some problems on all facets of special teams. Gave up a big kick return, and now on the punt and the extra point team. 4 wide receivers for Lafayette Jeff. And Johnson takes the ball. He's trying to get outside and evades a Zionsville defender, turns the corner. He got about 8 yards on the play, but it's going to be a holding call, and I imagine that'll push him back, and it'll be about...
First and 19, looks like.
First and... The hold was about 4 or 5 yards downfield. We'll see how they call this. Zionsville's definitely going to accept the penalty. So it might be 1st and 15, Lafayette Jeff.
And Lafayette Jeff continues to make good play calls here with this spread. Oh, looks like the penalty was on.
It was not a hold. We thought it was up here. A couple people up here thought it was a hold. But they're actually going to mark it back off against Zionsville. It may have even been a defensive holding.
Is that what they just called a defensive holding?
I'm not sure what else it could have been, really. It was called outside as the cornerback for Zionsville and the wide receiver for Lafayette Jeff were wrestling.
That's surprising, too, because I don't think there was any possibility of... Oh, they called a face mask. I'm sorry. That's what the call was. It looked like a holding from up here, but it was actually a face mask. I think when the quarterback went outside, the defensive end might have raked his face mask a little bit. So Lafayette Jeff takes over.
1st and 10, Jeff at the Zionsville 22-yard line. Johnson hands off to Darian Green. Green, another nice carry for about 7 or 8 yards. And after a shortened series and then a botched punt play by Zionsville, Lafayette Jefferson is trying to capitalize on this turnover.
Yeah, that was a great run right there. That Darian Green, man, he's fast and he hits the holes hard. He's a little bit undersized at running back, but not too bad. I think he's about 5'10", 175. But he runs really hard and he's very, very shifty, hard to bring down.
And he's a junior as well as the quarterback, so they'll both be back next year. Lafayette Jeff, those are two good building blocks to look forward to building off of this year going into the next year. A quick pass, but it was tipped down. I believe that's number 11 for Zionsville that got the tip. That was Jake Romanek.
And Romanek's been in a few plays tonight. He's done a very good job on that defensive end area, and I think that could have been a dangerous pass right there. I don't think the defender was really ready for that ball to come out, and nice job batting the ball down. So Lafayette Jeff is faced with their own 3rd down and 4, and let's see if Zionsville can make a stop here.
3rd and 4 for Lafayette Jefferson. This may be 4-down territory for them. Johnson in the shotgun, Darian Green to his left. He hands the ball off to Green. Green breaks a tackle, bounces outside, and he's shooting for the pylon. He reaches out, but I think they're going to call him out of bounds right at the goal line. They're going to get him. They're going to place the ball inside the 1, so a very nice run there by Darian Green as everyone else seems to be slowing down, but Darian Green is just now hitting stride, it looks like.
Absolutely, and that was a fantastic run. His vision is incredible, and Zionsville's defensive ends are coming upfield very, very strong, and it opens up a few little lanes for Darian Green to get through, and he's doing a fantastic job. And so Lafayette Jeff has 1st down and goal from the 1.
Lafayette Jeff, I formation. Johnson, quarterback sneak. He'll get in the end zone for a touchdown. So halfway through the 3rd quarter, Lafayette Jeff scores a touchdown. The extra point will make it a 1-possession game. They're already down 7, so they're looking to make it a 6-point game. There's 5:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Great drive by Lafayette Jeff there. Converted a few 3rd downs and we're able to have some nice plays. That Darian Green is just a beast. He runs with his head down. He runs smart. He finds the holes and he gets out there and runs hard. I mean, this guy's got to be close to 100 yards at least. And as a junior, he's got a lot of run to look forward to.
The extra point is up and it's good. So the lead shortens for Zionsville. They're leading 20-14 after Lafayette Jefferson forces a turnover on downs and takes the ball down. I guess it was about a 48-yard drive. Caps it off with a quarterback sneak by Matt Johnson for a touchdown from inside the 1-yard line. So early in the ball game, Zionsville goes up 14-0. We think we have a slaughter on our hands, but it actually turns out to be a pretty tough game, a back and forth game here, and it'll be interesting to see which team can overcome, the mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers, and just finish it out.
Yeah, and Zionsville still leads the turnover advantage at 3-1, and they're just not able to get the ball on the field. They've moved the ball fine. They have nice 6-yard runs here and there, but they just can't punch it in after the second half started. They've only had 1 drive, but Zionsville's got to go back to that throwing game. It was just so dominant in the first quarter. It took a 14-0 lead in the first 3 minutes, and since then they've only passed the ball 5 times. So I'm not sure what's going on, but they got to keep throwing the ball.
The kicker again, Alex Baker, is set to kick from the left hash. Nomchef and Colton Smith are back to return the kick for Zionsville. We haven't seen any very deep kicks tonight. I don't imagine we will this time. It's a dribbler. It's fielded inside the 15 by Nomchef. He's looking for some running room and finally breaks it around the outside. He's got a defender on his back, but a good return nonetheless. Takes it past the 35-yard line out to the 37 where Zionsville will take over. A late flag comes out at the very end of the play. Usually at the end of the play, you're looking at some sort of a personal foul penalty. It was long after the play ended, I believe.
Yeah, and nevertheless, Zionsville continues to get good returns, starting at the 35-yard line or close to the 40-yard line almost every single time, despite the last kickoff where there was a penalty. Well, we'll see what this call is going to be.
Nomchef is grabbing his face mask like maybe he caught a face mask on that play. Yes, that's what the call is. So it'll be a 15-yard penalty. So as Zionsville gave up a 15-yard face mask to Lafayette Jeff, they get one back here.
and that'll put the ball into Lafayette Jeff territory. And Zionsville will start at the Lafayette Jefferson 47-yard line. So those 15-yard penalties, those are pretty big swings there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see what Zionsville can come out here and do. Both touchdowns or the first touchdown that Lafayette Jeff scored, Zionsville was able to come back and score a touchdown themselves. So we'll see how they do here.
Single back this time with Cole Went. Wisniewski split out a little bit to the right. Handoff is to Went. He's got a lot of room to run. He's upended, but not after a good 10-yard carry. The ball is going to be marked right at the first down marker. I'm not sure if they'll take time to measure this or not.
I'm not sure. It looks pretty close, but I thought that spot was not very good, honestly. But
I think they're just going to eyeball it and call it short for now.
Okay. Nevertheless, that was a great run, and the offensive line did a fantastic job right there opening it up for Cole Went. And he continues to run very hard and strong, and he's gathering some yards for himself.
Second and very short for Zionsville, inside of a yard. Same formation, Cole Went, the running back. Dunchie under center. And the handoff is to Cole Went, and he's got a lot of room to run. That's good for another 10 yards. So Zionsville will have first and 10 at the Lafayette Jefferson 27-yard line. And this is they got to answer the bell here. This is a very big series for Zionsville, because if they don't or not necessarily punch it in, but if they don't get any points at all here, Lafayette Jefferson can take the lead with just a touchdown.
Absolutely, and it comes back to those missed PATs too. Those two missed PATs. We got the 2-point conversion, but they're only up 6 now, and Lafayette Jeff doesn't seem to have any kicking issues.
Same formation once again, single back Went. Lafayette Jeff looks to be showing a blitz as their linebackers walk up to the line. A quick pass out to the outside to, I believe that's Avery Boxall, number 1. He slips around a defender, caught the ball right about at the sticks, and then tacked on another 5 yards to the end of his catch. So a nice job there by Avery. That'll be first and 10 Zionsville at the Lafayette Jeff 14-yard line.
Yeah, it was a very good catch. The ball was thrown a little bit low, and Avery Boxall was able to grab it, stand up, break one tackle, and make a nice little run there. So Zionsville's moving the ball very successfully at the 14-yard line, and let's see if they can punch it in here.
About 4.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Broncos trailing Zionsville 20-14. I formation this time for Zionsville. The handoff again to Went. He breaks through a tackle and gets about 7 yards. So Zionsville is pretty dead set on pounding the ball here. They went through the air once on this drive, but other than that, it's been the Cole Went show as he's just barreled through defenders, and he's the type of running back that you really can wear a defense down over the course of a game with.
Absolutely. He's hard-nosed. You have to really hit him and wrap up to take him down. He's not one of those running backs where you can just pull down on top of you. He's going to completely run over you if you don't tackle him right, and he's doing a very good job, and this line continues to impress me with as big as Lafayette Jefferson's defensive line is.
Yeah, Cole Went's going to be a good fourth quarter back when you need to run the clock. And this time the pass, it's a little fade route. He's getting held, though. They're going to definitely throw the flag there. The pass was intended for Chris Mason, and he just couldn't create separation from the corner, but at some point in time, the referee saw the corner was hanging on to him pretty good. That'll be a pass interference.
Yeah, it's going to be a pass interference, but, that was a pretty good defensive play. The cornerback just didn't let go of him in time to make a good play on the ball, and he jammed up Chris Mason at the line, and Chris wasn't able to get that separation like you talked about, but just held on a little too long, and now he's going to pass interference. Zionsville should have first and goal about the 4-yard line.
We're inside of 4 minutes here to go in the third quarter. Zionsville threatening to extend their lead back to 2 possessions once again. I expect we'll see a 2-point conversion out of them if they do score. Double tights here for Zionsville as Cole Went, the running back, Chris Mason and John Nomchef are the receivers. Passes up to Nomchef, a perfect fade. Not only a perfect fade route, but a very nice throw by Parker Dunchie there. Very nice throw by Parker. Got to be happy with him this game. And that touchdown will put Zionsville back up 2 scores. We're going to wait to see whether they elect to go for 2 or kick the extra point, but it looks like they're going to be set on going for 2 and try to make this a 14-point game.
I think they have to, and that's a great drive by Zionsville coming off Lafayette Jeff's touchdown, and when the pressure's on, Zionsville both times have been able to come down and get a good score. Great runs by Cole Went, and then an even better exchange between once again Namchef and Parker Dunshee. Great route and catch.
And I formation here, and with the double tights for Zionsville. John Namchef, the lone receiver in the ball game. It's a play action. Dunchee's looking, escaping some tacklers, still on his feet. He's running to the pylon, and Parker will walk into the end zone. Wow, what a nice run as he was pressured, had to elude two defenders, slipped through the arms of one Lafayette Jeff defender, and walked into the end zone right along the pylon. That two-point conversion will be successful, and Zionsville will take a two-touchdown lead. It's 28-14 Eagles with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third.
Absolutely, and that was a very impressive showcase of Parker Dunchee's athleticism there to elude two tacklers that were right on him and pretty much walk into the end zone. That was a very, very and much-needed two-point conversion for Zionsville to put some pressure on Lafayette Jeff to see if they can come out here and try to make it a one-possession game again, but with 3:40 left in the third quarter, this is pretty much still a wide-open game.
Yeah, it is, and I think Parker has accounted for 26 of Zionsville's 28 point. Actually, no, he's 20. He's accounted for all 28, both two-point conversions and 3 touchdowns. So
yeah, and he had a rushing touchdown too. So he's have a heck of a game tonight, and
yep.
he's got to be. It's pretty much the Parker Dunshee show tonight.
Yeah, he's had a very nice game. So Namchef with 3 receiving touchdowns. Me and Alex were talking on the ride up here what the over-under was for Namchef's touchdown total tonight. We both said 2, but he one-upped us with 3. And the kick is off down to Lafayette Jeff as it's tipped, and Darian Green will take it. He's got nowhere to run, so good kick coverage there by Zionsville as the kick comes out to the 23-yard line. Lafayette Jefferson's offense will take back over.
And Lafayette Jeff, you can't really count them out. With Darian Green, that guy is so fast. He can make an 80-yard touchdown instantaneously, and Zionsville's really got to lock down here and play their defense correctly and expect both a mix of pass and run here.
Yeah, we're going to probably see them open it up even more. They elected to run the ball quite a bit on that last series when they were going in for the tie, but now being down 2 scores, we may see them open up their offense a little bit more. They have trips to the top of your screen, a high snap. The handoff is to Darian Green, but he is tackled, and it's a good tackle by number 45 for Zionsville. That's Jimmy Morrison, the middle linebacker. A few Zionsville defenders were in the backfield, but Morrison was able to come up with the tackle.
Yeah, that's one of the first times Zionsville's actually been able to get that blitz going with that linebacker and get in there and make a nice tackle. Darian Green can slip underneath you because he's low to the ground and runs fast, but Jimmy Morrison, a great job in wrapping him up and throwing him down.
Shotgun again with Darian Green, the running back, to Johnson's left. Matt Johnson takes a snap, sprints out left, and the ball is tipped and picked off by Zionsville. He's got room to run down the sideline trying to turn the corner but can't quite get it. Number 41 for Zionsville, that was Jackson Schaefer. Schaefer, that's his second interception of the night, am I right?
That's right. It is his second interception. 2 interceptions tonight. The first one came off of just an overthrow, and this one, once again, was overthrown and tipped. And Jackson Schaefer makes an advantage of it. And Zionsville's got the ball right at the Lafayette Jeff 12-yard line, and this is a really good opportunity for Zionsville to put this one away, more or less.
Yeah, the ball, I believe, was intended for Tim Wilson, number 7 for Lafayette Jeff. It was a high throw on the sprint out. He got a hand up and got a hand on it, but ball tipped up in the air right into the lap of Jackson Schaefer.
Absolutely.
Not to take anything away from Jackson Schaefer, but both balls tonight that he picked off were right at him. So
absolutely,
sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but you still got to catch it and you still got to make the play. So credit to him.
Yeah, and a lot of Zionsville's turnovers have come just by overthrows and mistakes. So.
And a boot play here for Dunshee, and it goes through the hands of Carson Kennedy. That was, I don't know, you would from here you would think that Carson Kennedy's got to catch the ball, but he had a lot of speed on that. I think Parker maybe could have taken some off of that and still completed the pass.
Yeah, and that was that was going to be a tough catch nevertheless. Parker Dungy rocketed that one. It was one of those things where it was Carson Kinney was either going to catch it and make a great catch, or it was not. It was going to go incomplete. So not a bad idea to try that play action. That's one of the first play actions that Zionsville's have run tonight, so we'll see what they do here.
Zionsville set. Lafayette Jeff is still scrambling to get Seth. Nomchef goes in motion. The handoff is no. Cole Went will take it. Good fake there by Dungy. I thought for a second that maybe he had kept it, but the handoff was to Cole Went, and that's about a 5-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 for Zionsville, and they're inside of Lafayette Jeff territory. They can still get a first down if they get inside the Lafayette Jeff 2, and we'll see how that affects their play calling. I wouldn't feel too confident to guarantee yourself 5 or 6 yards on a run. I could see them taking a shot for the end zone here.
Yeah, why not? Throw it up to Nomchef. He's just been a monster out there, 6'4", and he's got a short cornerback on him. Let him go up for it.
Double tight ends, though, with a single back set. The box is loaded by Lafayette Jeff. The pass is up, and it's to Chris Mason. And that's a touchdown, Chris Mason, on his birthday.
That's right.
And that's fantastic. We're good friends with Chris Mason's older brother, Brian Mason. He played with us at Zionsville back in our heyday, which we don't even want to tell you how long ago that was. But Chris Mason's birthday was today, so that's fantastic to see him get a touchdown. This is his first start at receiver, I believe. He was playing, getting a lot of mop-up duty last year, playing second string, and that's just fantastic that he got a touchdown right there.
Just turned 18 today. He's number 18, caught a touchdown pass. I think it's his first career touchdown. Yeah. So good for him. And
very good.
And once again, I think the kick is wide right, man. So these kicks, these PATs are just not working tonight for Zionsville. It's not windy outside, so I think just a lot of missing on the kicks. But
Ryan Connor, number 25, misses his 3rd extra point to the right tonight. He's pushed every single one of them right. And I'm sure he'll get it together. He'll get a lot more work this week in practice also, probably, I'm sure.
Yeah, you bet they're going to be working on it.
Yeah, sure. We know Coach well enough to know that he's probably going to put some emphasis on that. And I'm sure Ryan Connor will correct it and come back stronger next week.
Yeah, and you almost feel, despite the score being 34-14, you almost feel, it's still a 3-possession game, but you almost feel like Zionsville's controlled this game a little bit more than what the score might show. They've missed a few opportunities, and with all the turnovers that Lafayette Jeff has created, or has made, you feel like Zionsville should be up, almost 40, 48, 49 to 14, but nevertheless, Lafayette Jeff is fought all night and forced a couple turnovers on their own and still in this game.
Well, Zionsville's defense has come up with 4 turnovers tonight, and the offense has turned 3 of those now into touchdowns. So 3 out of 4 isn't bad converting them. Zionsville stopped themselves. I think it seems that way as we get the kick in here. It's a short kick, by the way. Bounces at the 20, fielded right at about the 15. And Zionsville defender brings him down at the Lafayette Jeff 25-yard line. But I think the reason that feeling comes is there's been a couple opportune times when you were really expecting Zionsville to add that 3rd touchdown lead and really build on it, and that's when they haven't. Until now,
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
They just had that chance. But there was a couple times Zionsville's up 14-0 and then 20-7, and you were thinking, okay, well, maybe they're going to lay one more touchdown on them and really break this game open. And they hadn't really been able to accomplish that until yet. So they have a 20-point lead with under 2 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. And later this ball game goes, the more we're going to see Lafayette Jefferson press. And the more they press, the more susceptible they're going to be to throwing interceptions, or at least Zionsville's defense should be more opportunistic in that regard.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, and it's a nice stat because Zionsville, every time Lafayette Jeff scored, Zionsville came back and scored. And also, they've also scored on 3 of the turnovers as Lafayette Jeff makes a great catch on the sideline, but there is a flag down.
There was a flag down in the backfield, which is usually in the area of holding. The pass was complete for about 5 yards, and he was pushed out of bounds by Scotty Panola, number 26 for Zionsville. And it is a holding call, and that'll push Lafayette Jefferson back further into their own territory.
And that's about the last thing Lafayette Jeff wants right now is to move back 10 yards when they're down 20 points with 1:42 left in the 3rd quarter. But Lafayette Jeff, like we said, they have a good chance. They have great players, and they have opportunities to get down the field in a hurry. So we'll see how they react here. You got to feel like on 1st and 10 or 1st and 20, they got to throw the ball being down 20 points.
Yeah, well, it's a 10-yard penalty, but it takes place from the backfield, so the penalty was in the backfield as the offensive lineman was pass blocking for the quarterback, so it winds up being about a 15-yarder. And it'll be just about 1st and 25 for Lafayette Jeff. 5 wide receivers as we're going to expect them to throw and try to get some chunks of yardage to make up there for this penalty here. A blitz coming for Zionsville, and they got him. That was a great call there. 2 guys came through. Morrison blitzed and got picked up, but another blitzer came through.
And that was pretty much a chess match right there. Zionsville had a blitz drawn up, and at the same time, Lafayette Jeff had a quarterback draw drawn up. So, it's one of those things where Zionsville's defensive call right there won that battle, where the blitz came in and we're right there on the quarterback.
2nd and 25 now for Lafayette Jefferson. They're deep in their own territory, inside of their own 10-yard line, and Zionsville's looking to really clamp down here, and the defense, I think, wants to put their mark on this game, and they can do so right here. 4 wideouts with the running back. Matt Johnson sprints out right. He's being pursued, and he looks deep downfield, and a nice catch there by number 7 for Lafayette Jeff. That's Tim Wilson. And that's good for about a 27-yard gain, 28-yard gain possibly, and a 1st down. And you got him backed up that far, and you let a big play happen. But credit to Wilson right there for Lafayette Jeff. Went up at the height of the ball. He was surrounded by Zionsville defenders, but still able to come down with it.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that was all Wilson right there, because that ball hung up there in the air pretty high, and that was a fantastic catch. He got up there and caught it, and it's times like this when teams need big players to make big plays to help out.
So now it's 1st and 10, Lafayette Jeff. 5 wideouts. Matt Johnson back in the shotgun by himself, and a quarterback keeper right up the middle. Good for 8 yards. And the defensive ends came up hard on that play, and I think Matt Johnson, as soon as he got the handoff, had a clear path, a wide open gap up the middle, and was able to scamper. I've actually been pretty surprised by the speed of Matt Johnson. When he decides to take off, he's pretty fast kid.
He sure is, and he's agile too. He can elude a rusher really easily.
And this pass a little deeper, looking, that was trouble brewing for the receiver right there. The pass was intended for number 26, Carl McWay, and the Zionsville defender, number 15, Ben Kocher, was coming for him. That was going to be a big hit if he held on to that ball.
Yeah, that receiver was pretty stretched out right there trying to get that ball, and this was a little bit overthrown. Not a bad effort, but that ends the 3rd quarter as Zionsville is leading 34-14. And so far in this game, at the end of the game, if the score stays how it is, what would you expect the coaching staff to say to each team and what they did well and what they didn't do well?
Well, for Zionsville, you have a lot more to be positive about. The thing is that, well, for me, I don't feel like Lafayette Jeff has played an awful game. I think they played a sloppy game, but I think at times they've shown flashes. I think they're going to do the exact opposite of each other. If you're a Zionsville coach, I think you have to be a little more pessimistic and really clean up some of the details. And then I think for Lafayette Jeff, you need to kind of highlight some of the strengths and say, hey, fellas, we did run the ball well at times. We did move the chains. We did score. We could do this. I think for Lafayette Jeff, they need to preach consistency, and it's probably the same for Zionsville. Both teams could probably use to be more consistent, but I think that Zionsville's been the more consistent team tonight. I think that, unfortunately, they've been consistently bad with special teams tonight. Kickoff return, punt team, extra point team. I mean, they're going to really have to work on special teams this week.
Yeah, and you have to feel that special teams are is where they led to scores for Lafayette Jeff, as there's all kinds of moving up at the line.
That looks like a false start by number 72 for Lafayette Jefferson. That is Robbie Alvarado. He is a senior, 5'8", 285 pounds. And you can bet when he starts leaning forward, he's not going to be able to catch himself.
Well, he's that big mamma jamma that played that nice hit on the defensive end coming back right before halftime. And, being in 3rd and 2, being down 20 points, backing up 5 yards to make it a 3rd and 7. That's just tough to face right there. You got to stay disciplined, and you have to know the snap count. That's the number one thing before you even go between the play. You got to know what the snap count is.
He laid a monster hit right before halftime as the quarterback was sprinting out. He got a blindside hit on number 48 for Zionsville. That was Riley Pokrafak. Excuse me, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that last name. First name Riley, number 48 on Zionsville. And a little option here. Zionsville nicely strings it out. First guy there was, it looks like 45 Morrison. He missed the tackle, but he did force the running back inside.
And so it looks like Lafayette Jeff has 4th and 5. They have to go for it, I would think. There's only 11 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter. And, Lafayette Jeff, like you said, they've done a lot of good stuff tonight. A lot of the turnovers came just on air throws, overthrows. But, they've got a great line, and they've got a running back who has a serious motor on him. I expect them to do well the rest of this season. I really do. I think Zionsville is a very senior-led team, a lot of older guys who've played before. And so, it looks like, okay, they are going to throw it.
Oh, a nice play there by the corner for Zionsville, getting his hand in and breaking up the pass. Tyler Glenn, he made another good play earlier, we noted. And that'll be a turnover on down, so Zionsville will take over at the Lafayette Jeff 48. 11 minutes left in the game. They're going to look to add on to this lead here.
Yeah, and like you said, that was a great play. We've called Tyler Glenn's name a couple times, and he did a great job just coming right over the receiver to knock that ball out and give Zionsville the ball back. And now is where I expect Zionsville to really pound the ball and just keep running the ball with Wisniewski and Cole Wint, and then with a few minutes left, put some younger guys in there and get them some experience.
Dunchie here with Cole Wint behind him. Wisniewski goes in motion to the left-hand side. A quick 3-step drop, and the ball is tipped. Nice play by number 21 for Lafayette Jeff. That was Alex Guadalajara as he got a hand up on the ball, and it'll be 2nd and 10 for Zionsville. Haven't really gotten a chance to mention individually some of the offensive linemen tonight for Zionsville. We called their names earlier. In particular, I wanted to focus on Austin Brewer. He was a starter last year, 6'2", 285, a well-built kid. Not a, he's not a soft 285.
No, he's very well built. 6'2", 285. He's got some serious muscle on him, and he gets a good push off the line and controls whoever the defender is in front of him. So he's a solid guy out there and protects Parker Dunchie very well.
I really like watching him run block. He's a mauler up there, and it's been kind of a treat to watch as a former offensive lineman. I like watching Brewer go up against some of these big boys for Lafayette Jeff. They've had some battles I've been watching, trying to keep an eye on the trenches from up here. And Zionsville's back in the I formation. Parker Dunchie hands it off to Cole Wint. He's got a nice big hole. Wint around the outside. He's caught from the side, but that's a 9-yard gain there, and that's a nice gain for Cole Wint. That'll keep the chains, not quite keep the chains moving, but it'll keep the clock rolling and give them a short 3rd down situation.
Yeah, and Cole Wint, I just love how he gets out in the open and just keeps that ball high and protects the ball. In the fourth quarter, that's one of the most important times to protect the ball and don't let anything crazy happen to get this lead cut down at all. So very good job, and he's had a very, very nice night, probably getting close to about 150 yards rushing tonight.
So what's your guess, partner? What's Cole Wint's longest touchdown going to be this year?
Man, with that way he runs that ball, I can't say more than 15 yards, maybe 25.
Wisniewski right up the middle. He gets a couple yards, and that'll be good for Zionsville 1st down. 10 minutes left in the ball game. Zionsville methodically moving the chains right now and hopefully put one more on the board and try to wrap this up on defense.
We were talking about Austin Brewer, and it kind of reminds me when the guards pull across in the movie Rudy, when the big lineman comes across and just lays Rudy out, and I just love to see those pancakes, and offensive line just really gets at it, and they're just doing such a good job tonight. I think that's such a large success factor of tonight's game is the offensive line and how well they've done and controlled the line of scrimmage.
Rudy. It's 1st and 10, and I believe Parker maybe put a hard count on there. I don't know if they were drawn off by Zionsville or No, it's going to be a
Looks like it is
gonna be an
encroachment.
offsides. Yeah, he stepped into the neutral zone. That was a good. I believe it was a hard count by Dunchie. It's pretty soundproof up here in the press box, so you couldn't really hear the cadence. But that Jeff defender ran up and couldn't stop himself. He went into the neutral zone.
Yeah, it was certainly a hard count. Actually, there was 2 defensive linemen who actually jumped off, but what could have been consequential to one of them going. But great snap count right there, and Zionsville's got a little bit easier work ahead of them, being 1st and 5, and expect to see a dose of Cole Wynn or Wisniewski here.
Clock still running, down to 9 minutes. And the handoff to Wisniewski. He's trying to find a little room, breaks a couple tackles. Nice hard run there by Steven Wisniewski. That's a 6-yard gain and a first down for Zionsville.
And
That'll be
Wisniewski. He's a pretty solid guy. He's only 5'10", but he's 206 pounds, so I wouldn't imagine like trying to tackle that. That's a lot of manpower going.
low center of gravity, that's for sure. And he runs with his pads low. He's a hard person to tackle once he gets through that first layer of defense. And 1st and 10, Zionsville at the Lafayette Jefferson 20. This time the handoff again. I believe that's Cole Wynn. I wasn't able to check before the play. And that was number 4. That's Colton Smith. He's also been returning some kicks.
Yeah, and it also looks like the backup quarterback has come in, number 8. Looks like that's Joshua Hinkle. He's a junior, 6'2", sizable kid, 6'2", 170. And looks like Parker Dunchie, after his incredible night on opening night of football, 5 touchdowns total, 4 in the air and 1 on the ground, he's going to call it quits tonight, and they're going to let these young kids come in and finish the game for them.
Starting, all the other starters are in except the running back and quarterback, I believe. I know Nomchef is still in the ball game. And Zionsville will run the ball. This time again, Colton Smith gets hit at the line of scrimmage and spins out of it. And I think he might have got another first down there. It's going to be close.
That was a great job by Colton Smith there. He got the first contact and was able to spin out and dive forward. And coaches love to see that out of these young running backs when they get hit, that first contact, being able to elude that and at least get something positive instead of getting stuffed at the line of scrimmage. So very nice job and great effort.
John Nomchef's going to come out of the ball game now, so Zionsville slowly trickling in their second team. Wisniewski, the fullback, the starter, still in. This is good to get some reps for some of these backup guys. They're going to eventually be starters, a lot of them. I believe that was another encroachment. Yeah, you're right.
The outside linebacker just got a little antsy, or maybe it was a cornerback, and tried to get in there too quickly and came off sides. But it looks like also Zionsville's got a couple linemen who are in there. It looks like number 56 is in right now. It's Austin Gilmore. He's a junior at right guard. Pretty sizable kid as well, 6 foot 228. That's a solid guy.
Yeah, Jacob Avon, the starter, still in. He's wondering if they forgot about him in there. I think he's one of the few starters that's still in the ball game. So good for these guys to get experience so early in the season, though. That's a nice luxury to have, to get some actual real game time varsity experience. And you never know when injuries are going to strike, and you're going to have to be called upon. And having this series under your belt at least is better than nothing.
And it's something to really appreciate about Coach McWhorter and the Zionsville staff is that they will let those young guys get in there and play. They want them to go in there and get experience because they build a program, not just a team. It's a continual thing, and they want them to do well. And it's just they have a great program in Zionsville, and they continue to do well every year. I don't think Zionsville's had a losing record ever since Coach Mack started, honestly, which is impressive, very impressive.
At least not while we were there.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And we got an injured player here for Lafayette Jeff. I can't really make out the number. It looks like number 20 from here.
Could be cramps. A lot of cramps in the first night.
Yeah, number 20 is Torrin Irving. They have him listed as a linebacker on here. Torrin Irving is a junior. Yeah, it could be cramps. He's hobbling off, and I don't suspect it's anything too serious. At least we hope not up here. It's always nice when a player goes down to see them get up and walk off on their own power.
Yeah, and it's not like Zionsville, going back to putting the second stringers in, it's not like Zionsville just gets their second guys in there for one series. There's 7 minutes left in this game. That's 3 minutes shy of a full quarter. So, to get them, or excuse me, I guess 6 minutes shy of a full quarter, but to get those guys in there, it just really pays dividends and helps going forward with practice too, to have that game time experience, not playing against the same guys over and over again, knowing what they're going to do. You get out there and play against other teams with their varsity, and a lot of times when you're up 34-14, your second string guys are playing against their starters, and despite them being tired, you can really, really do some good things and have a lot of stuff to come back and show on video and film.
Oh, yeah, I think the whole first team defense is still in for Lafayette Jeff, so this second string is getting starter minutes right now. And that's going to be a big help moving forward and a big building block to learn off of. And sure enough, Colton Smith runs it in for a touchdown, and you got to be happy with the offensive line there creating that hole. Like we just said, the whole first-team defense is still in for Lafayette Jeff, and Zionsville able to put a nice long drive together there. Just about 6 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Zionsville takes a 40-14 lead, and we'll try another extra point. This has been kind of a...
I got my fingers crossed right now.
Yeah, this has been kind of a circus tonight, this extra point team. I'm really rooting for Ryan Connor here to boot her through.
Actually, that was a different kicker. I think that was 88.
Yeah, that was a different kicker, and he made it. That's Connor Drake, and Connor Drake puts in the first extra point of the night for Zionsville, so it's a 41-14 lead for the Eagles as the host Lafayette Jefferson Broncos are going to get the ball again and try to press, try to move it downfield, and try to score a touchdown here.
And I apologize about the video feed there. We lost power, but we'll get it right back to you here shortly. And as Zionsville comes to kick, I apologize about that video. It looks like we're back. As Zionsville gets set to kick the ball off, they have a comfortable 41-14 lead with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
We lost signal there for a minute, but we're back here. And the kicker, I believe, is also going to be number 88, Connor Drake, again, after just kicking the extra point. He kicks the longest kickoff of the night. And they got stuffed down at the 15-yard line. That was a nice kick by Connor Drake. He's come in and made the first extra point of the night, and then he's kicked the longest kickoff of the night. So we may be witnessing kicking tryouts here.
That's right, and that's fantastic for him. He's only a sophomore, so to get out there, he's listed as a receiver, and I don't think he's got any action at receiver, but to get out there and kick, it's an easy way to earn that varsity letter. So very nice boot. And then Lafayette Jeff is at their own 16, and that's the furthest back they've started all night.
This will be their worst field position of the night, I think. I think you're right. And it's going to be a shotgun situation once again. We've only seen a handful of plays from under center tonight for Lafayette Jeff. Matt Johnson's looking. Now he rolls right, looking downfield. He throws deep. He's got a guy wide open. It's Tim Wilson. He breaks a tackle, and he's finally brought down at the Zionsville 10. That's going to be good for, let me do the math here. That's 75-yard throw and catch there from Matt Johnson to Tim Wilson, and Tim Wilson was a good 15 yards behind all the Zionsville defenders. The only reason he didn't score is because he had to stop and wait on the ball to get there.
That's right. I mean, he was 40 yards down the field, so that was still a heck of a throw to be on the run and launch that one down there. And, with Zionsville's second-string DBs in there, you can't expect they know exactly what they're doing and what to expect out of these starters from Lafayette Jeff. But nevertheless, great pitch and catch, and Lafayette Jeff looking to strike before the game's over.
Lafayette Jeff has not given up. They hand the ball off to Dorian Green. He's stuffed in the backfield, and I think he fumbled. And he might have landed on his own fumble, but a nice job there by Zionsville. And talking about the second string, I mean, they should still know what to do with Coach Mack. Coach McWhorter, I think the way he's very detail-oriented, and I think all the second string guys should definitely know what they're doing. And if they don't know, then he'll find someone to replace them. So
absolutely.
The mental aspect of the game
it should be huge for anyone that's playing second string. There's a short pass to the left-hand side. I mean, you're not going to get all the reps in practice, all the physical reps, but then you should really sharpen up on your mental reps because your mental reps got to be there. If you're not going to get the practice reps you need, you got to know what you're doing mentally. So I'm sure he's, I don't think any of the coaches would ever make excuses for any of the backup guys not knowing what they're doing.
Absolutely, and also one of those things, along with the mental ability, you also have to be able to communicate with each other, and especially in the secondary, your safety and corner, that's pretty much a tandem. You guys have to work together and communicate with the linebackers, and absolutely got to funnel. Can't let them get outside of you. So.
And a fake pass here by Johnson. He's being chased and finally throws it. A nice interception there by Zionsville.
So how about that?
And it's returned past the 30. Well, how about Zionsville's defense tonight?
Well, how about their second string defense come in there just to just to get some playing time and wind up getting an interception? That's great, and you feel bad for this quarterback of Lafayette Jeff.
That's Matt Johnson.
Yeah, Matt Johnson, because he's played other than his 4 or 5 interceptions, he's played a pretty good game. I mean, he's had some great plays with his feet. He's been able to get out and make some good plays. He just, has struggled throwing the ball, a little bit high. But
other than his 4 or 5 interceptions, no, I know what you mean. They weren't all his fault. A couple of them were tip balls. I think did he have a fumble, I believe? Or no, that was Parker.
It was a pitch. Well, he pitched it.
Yeah, he pitched it. That was the running back's fault. So they weren't all the quarterback's fault.
And honestly, I've seen a lot of good things out of him. I don't think he's been sacked one time tonight because he's that quick and can be elusive enough to get outside. But yeah, sometimes you get outside and throw it right to the defense. You never know.
Zionsville's defense gives up 2 touchdowns tonight thus far. Shouldn't talk too early. They're still